Guilty of crime.
And we're back. Hello, everybody. What's up? I'm your host, Jay, with Guilty of Crime, and we're back. Happy Monday, everybody. Good to see ya. I know you guys missed me this weekend. I definitely missed y'all. Well, not enough to stream, but I do keep up on what's going on. And I've got this cough that won't go away. I think it's allergies. Anyway, guys, happy freaking Monday. I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. Let me say hello, and then we'll get started. Today, y'all, what does the FBI know about Summer Wells 5 years later? This is the lead that may solve the case. We're going to get into that. I'm so glad that 6 months ago, there actually was a lead that got into the hands of TBI and FBI, because now at the 5-year mark, we're not actually just streaming, oh, well, it's the 5-year mark, let's talk about it again. It's a 5-year mark, but we're also going to talk about new details, new clues, what's next, what happened. You know what we do around here. We've got the best of the best people together today with new information and new just content, period. Not the same old recycled shit. So there we go. All right. And I don't mean to cuss, but Summer Wells has been missing for far too long. And FBI, it knows a lot more than you know or you even think. All right. So before I get back into Summer Wells, let me say hello, FloJo TV. What's up, my guy? You guys drop his link if you would. 5 freaking years. That's insane. That's insane. And when I give you my thoughts today, 5 years, it doesn't even make sense. All right. Yes, totally in the dark. Don't worry. I'm going to get everybody up to speed if you don't have an idea of what the hell I'm talking about. Cuff you. She's Jenna Gypsy says, hey, Cuff you. Lady for Justice came in with the Guilty of Crime membership, and Sister Karen 777 member for 9 months. So happy that you're part of this wonderful family. Thank you. So, I mean, this might be a long one today. I'm going to get through everything that I have. I'll do, of course, a recap, but we're also going to get into what the hell is happening now. What are the leads? What was the latest lead? Where are we stuck? And what are people saying about the case? All right. What's up? Oh, yeah. How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Mama Pearl's in the house. Kel. I see Foxy. We got a house full today. Cuff you. Kel. Lady for Justice. Our creators here. The creators. You guys see the new logo? We got to thank Foxy for that. Dope. All right, guys. How's everyone doing today? I'm sorry I came in late. My computer had to restart and StreamYard was being finicky. So, but if I like StreamYard, guys. Don't get me wrong. I could do a lot with StreamYard when it's not being finicky. All right. What's up, my guy? Good to see you, Janet. How you doing? Nanny Go. Hello. There's my girl, Tiff. How you doing? You guys are awesome. Turtle Island is coming up this week. We're going to have a good week, everybody, whether you like it or not. All right? So let's get into it. Let's do this. Let me start with, because I saw Deb saying, I wasn't here with you. I don't know this. And I think there might be a lot of people that just simply don't know what happened in the case. But don't worry, I'm here and I've got the files. I mean, I love this website that Kathy P turned me onto with case files. It's got everything you need and some. And then you've got pictures of the property. Guys, we're going to go deep today. Thank you, Michelle, so much for the Guilty of Crime membership. If you received that membership, please thank her. And guys, I'm still shipping stuff out. I've got the Madeline Soto shirt in my car ready to go, but I've also got a stack of books. So if you guys want to get the books, I dropped a link. If you want to book directly for me, you guys can do like a PayPal or one of those deals below, or you can even do a super chat. If you want to do like a $20 super chat, I'll mail you a copy with it signed. And I'm not going to charge you shipping, obviously, because I'm going to be sending it from myself, not from Amazon. So that being said, happy Pride Month once again. We had a wonderful birthday for Mrs. Guilty, and we're back. Let's go. All right. Thank you guys all. Everything helps the channel. As a matter of fact, StreamYard was pissed off at me because you guys know how my card got fraud. So it's what, the 15th of the month, and all of my stuff was saying, you need a new credit card on file. So that's what happened with StreamYard. But I did get it in the mail the day we left, thank God. And I thank you who sent the Cash App. You know who you are. All right, let's get to it. We do need justice for Summer Wells, but I want you to know that this case is not cold, right? FBI knows way more, and I'm gonna show you. All right, so let's do a quick recap real quick. I'm gonna go. Let's go here. Let's go here real quick. All right, TBI releases a statement at the 5-year mark. Now, today is the June 15th, 2026. This just came out at 5:07 a.m., June 15th, which was today. Okay, if you know nothing about this, little Summer Wells has been missing for 5 years now. So there's the little quick recap. Actually, we'll do that real quick for you.
And this morning, we have a new statement.
Hold on.
5 years after her disappearance from Hawkins County. According to the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office, Summer was last seen on June 15th of 2021 walking away from her home on Ben Hill Road in the Beach Creek community. And despite a still active Amber Alert, there's been no sign of her since. In the days after her disappearance, crews searched more than 3,000 acres using helicopters, planes, drones, and scent tracking dogs. And since that time, state and federal law enforcement agencies have gotten involved in the search for Summer. And this morning, we have a new statement from the director of the TBI, David Rausch, on the progress of the investigation. Rausch says, quote, "From the very beginning, our focus has been on Summer and finding out what happened to her. We never imagined her case would remain unsolved after 5 years. We have made progress over the last year, but there are still many unanswered questions. We continue to urge anyone with firsthand information regarding Summer's disappearance to come forward. Even the smallest detail could make all the difference in this case," end quote. If you have any credible tips in the Summer Wells case, you can contact law enforcement by calling 1-800-TBI-FIND.
Okay, so I wanted to give you guys the rundown from TBI because FBI is deep in it as well. You just heard the statement that they're talking about. Sometimes when someone says a statement like that, it's hogwash, but because 6 months ago they actually were back out there checking in the area where they think there's more evidence, as well as the pig farm, guys, the pig farm. So Summer Wells disappeared in 2021, today, right? June 15th is today, 2021, 5 years ago today. Now, she was 5 years old then, and since TBI and FBI, I guess TBI, but FBI has released many progressed photos, all right? And we're going to get to that case. We're going to get to that case now, the crime timeline, so you know what I'm talking about. And then I'm going to show you who Summer Wells is. All right, so let's do this. Let me I'll pull this up, and then I'll give you a link for those that were asking. All right, it's called Crime Timelines, and it's got almost every case you could possibly imagine and think of. We got case files, cold cases, cold case files, closed case files, MMIP, missing person, It's all there. All right. Let me drop you a link in chat. All right. There's so many things there. And there's no way you won't know what's going on by the end of this episode. All right. Good to see you. I just got to hear you. I don't know why. What? Well, hello. How you doing? Good to see you. I just got started. Don't worry. You're right on time. I didn't watch Turtle Island, but I know I also want to vote for besides Jay. Flojo. We should get Flojo on. Definitely. All right. So there's the link to this. All right. All the murders are horrendous, but the few I've heard at the pig farms. Now there's an intricacy to this case more than, in my opinion, than it's just Don and his wife, right? It's a lot deeper than that, and we'll get into it. I mean, I don't like to be judgy, but I will be when I see a picture like this, and it doesn't look like an average picture to me. It doesn't look like a little girl that was just playing outside for a little while getting dirty. It looks like this kid rolls in the dirt daily. They don't take care of her. They don't bathe her. They don't groom her. They shaved her hair off. Why? Because she had lice at some point. But look at the house. Look at the dad sitting in there when she was still alive. That's probably what he did when he wasn't snorting lines, in my opinion, and hanging around with pedophiles. You hang with the pedophiles, you're bound to get caught up in that. You play with the pigs in the mud, you're going to get dirty. Okay? When you come on here crying, people come on here crying about shit, but they're the ones that put themselves into it. It was not her fault. And she was deep into whatever these people are, guys. All right. Even this is creepy. Even this creeps me out. This picture that he used on the shirt, if you actually look at and zoom in on that picture, which, by the way, they're still trying to get a statement from them. The statement that did come, though, says, Candace and I would like to thank each person who cares about our daughter, Summer. Your kindness and prayers mean a lot. We know that only God can restore our family. We love you, Summer, Waylon, Wyatt, and Josie. God always wins. God bless you all, Don Wells. I think that's a bullshit statement. I think that he didn't write any of that. I think they wrote it for him, put him out there just to let it be. But I still think that's a creepy ass picture that he put on of Summer Wells. I have it in the highest of definition, and they made her look like a woman in that picture. All right. It's not like age progression or any of that. Summer is very pretty. What's up, Country Bumpkin? You know, I love that name. I'm always like, what's up? Oh, it wasn't last night. Yeah, I don't know. I was in Napa last night, guys. Pride Parade downtown. Yep. I'm near San Francisco, guys. SF Pride is at the end of every June, and it's off the chain. But I'm getting too old for that. Anyway, don't distract me, because I'll be like, squirrel. DJ, what's up? Drop your link. If one of the mods could drop it for you, good to see you, buddy. I hope you're doing well. I hope your channel's doing well. All right, so these people irk me as it is, but it's not just them alone. Don and Candace Wells have a group of people that they roll with. And when you start talking about this case and you get into it deeper, let's say we were to go and talk to Dolly about his visit over there and all the interview room, right? This is some dark shit that's going on at this house before she went missing. And yes, past perfect Pam, that is like a grown ass woman. And today, when I show you a clip of this creepy mother trucker talking, it's like he already predicted what was going to happen to his daughter. And I believe she was already being sexually assaulted. All right. I'm sure she was already. I'm so glad to crack you up. Squirrel. Okay, now I'm back. All right, so that picture irks me. I can't comprehend why you would have a missing daughter at 5, not use an age progression, but make her look like a freaking woman. And then just look, I mean, it's even wrinkled. Even that's in bad taste. Why does that bother me so bad, guys? Look at his pants are ripped. And that shirt is wrinkled as fuck. Like, what did you do? Just pull it out of the trash can and say, find Summer Wells, thanks. What is this? If that's any indication on how they treated their daughter, then it gives you a good idea of what happened to Summer. Okay, that's a disgrace, and that's embarrassing. And frankly, it's embarrassing, right? You see that? What is that? It's an embarrassment. It's gross, and it does. And I have the high def picture that I zoomed in on, and she looks like a lady. But where did he get that shirt from? My laundry isn't even that wrinkled after a month. What is this guy doing? What an embarrassment. All right, let's continue. I get so pissed off at parents that don't take pride in their children. They don't even take pride in themselves. So here's the file. Let me check. I want you guys to check this out. I'm not going to read for 10 hours. So you'll have to go check out crime timelines, and you can find almost any case that you want. Summer Wells, a 5-year-old girl, went missing from her home in Hawkins County, Tennessee, June 15th, 2021. The search for her remains are ongoing with no definitive conclusion reached. Summer was reported missing to Hawkins County Sheriff's Office at approximately 6:30 p.m. on a Tuesday, June 15th, back in 2021. Now, Hawkins County investigators immediately began working the case shortly after an endangered child alert was issued. New information and a growing concern about the well-being of Summer prompted TBI to issue a statewide Amber Alert less than 12 hours later. Although I don't think that would do any good at this time. I think whoever took her or whatever happened to her happened within that household and within the people that they hang with. Summer has blonde hair, blue eyes. At the time, she stood 3 feet tall and approximately 40 pounds. Okay, pink shirt, possibly barefoot. Now, this is just like 1,000-foot view. All right, yeah, that mother trucker. This is the 1,000-foot view of the case for those of you that don't know it and have never heard about it. All right, so that's it. But when you continue down this, you see the age progression. Right, there was the one you saw earlier, which these always kind of creep me out a little bit. I'm not a fan of these. But that was from the year before, and then now we're going a little bit further. So they're saying if FBI is saying if she's alive, this is what she might look like today. I know it will. And I think we're getting closer than ever. Okay? That's what I got to tell you. And that's why I got so, not just because it's 5 years today, but because there's new information out there that we need to talk about. All right? So let me, this is just it pulls everything. They got it down, right? I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Many of you know about this case. It happened in 2021. Over that time, so many things happened, guys. Now, at the time of her disappearance that day, I'll tell you, it was about 5:30 p.m. in the summertime, right? It doesn't get dark until about 9 o'clock. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I got this cough. I can't. Summer was planting flowers with her family shortly before she was last seen. The flowers were planted in a pot or in pots. So an hour later, Summer Wells is reported missing on Ben Hill Road. Mind you, law enforcement is back at Ben Hill Road and FBI still searching to this day, coming back. Now, her family states that she was last seen going in the basement to play. Guys, over the years, stories have changed. Now they're saying Summer was wearing gray pants, a pink shirt, believed to be barefoot. She stood 3 foot tall, weighed 40 pounds. All right. Next day, they did the endangered child alert, and an hour later upgraded it to the Amber Alert. Right. You can see nothing's been fruitful. The next day, they searched for her. All right. Along dangerous terrains, dense canopy coverage. They're hopeful to bring her home day after day. Summer's father spoke to the media. Still, he's a disgrace. Everything that comes out of that man's mouth, in my opinion, is either a lie or he's looking at you and he's duper's delight. It's a duper's delight thing. He knows what happened and they got away with it, so to speak. All right, so you can continue it on and on and on and on, and this is going for 5 years. Okay, so investigators coming up now. We're at June 15, 2026. 6 months back in November 13th, 2025, investigators followed a new lead. And by the way, they're still talking about that lead with the FBI, but I want you guys to know that they are working on that. And I'm going to get there. All right. I'm going to get there to that. I just want you guys to see what we're talking about. 3,500. And I'm going to show you the terrain, the house, all that. Okay. So the property, there was a new lead 6 months ago. I covered it and a lot of others. 10 miles away approximately from her home. The search location was 3537 Van Hill Road. Property is listed as belonging to Paul Hill. I'm sure if you are in this case deep, you'll know all about Paul Hill, Joseph Frank Hill, Fred Hill. I mean, I'm sure you guys got lots of stories to talk about. Now, authorities say the case still remains active and law enforcement continues to follow credible leads, which I'm going to get to next, but I do want to show you some of the property pictures from here. Again, you guys can go back. There's so many things here. Had you heard about the flower bed? There was not a flower bed. I mean, these are things that were frequently asked and kind of like debunking the junk that we talk about, right? Have you searched the home and property? Yes, more than once, including the basement, crawl space. But they contradict themselves quite a bit, all right? Have you questioned the neighbors? Yes. Of course they're going to say that. FBI involved? Yes, yes, yes. And then we see all these different videos coming out with these people that are high as a kite, all right? Those people are her parents. So Deb or anybody that's new. Now, let me show you some of the pictures, and then we're going to get into everything that just came out 35 minutes ago up until like yesterday, all right? Messy Bun Mafia. What's up, my friend? Good to see you guys. Do me a favor. Come on in and hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Get a membership if you can. Yes. Hold on 1 second. All right. 1 second, guys. Let me put this on for you because I want to show you the terrain, but I have to do something real quick for baby guilty. That's not such a baby, but I still want to help. I door dashed her food and I gotta get the right stuff out. Check this out while I'm away. Okay, I'll be back in less time than it takes to play this, and I want you to realize this came out. It's only been seen 24 times. It came out about 45 minutes ago. I think this is the correct one. Let me double check. Is that the same one? All right.
It has been 5 years since an Amber Alert was activated for Summer Wells out of Hawkins County. It's our top story tonight. Good evening. I'm Sarah Diamond.
And I'm Casey Marlar. The then 5-year-old little girl was last seen at her home in the Beach Creek community. No one has been arrested or charged since her disappearance. There's been few answers about what happened, but law enforcement says the case is far from cold.
Late last year, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation followed up on a tip on Van Hill Road in Greenville, about 9.5 miles from the Wells family home. The agency says there is nothing more they can release about that search, but did say progress had been made over the last year in a video statement released this morning.
We continue to urge anyone with firsthand information regarding Summer's disappearance to come forward. Even the smallest detail could make all the difference.
News Channel 11's Ansley Daniel joins us now in studio with more on the case after talking with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Ansley?
Yeah, Sarah and Casey, like TBI Director David Roush, the vice president of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, says cases can break years later with even the smallest of details that may come out. John Bischoff is the vice president over the Missing Children Division there at the center that provides tools and resources to help in investigations like Summer's. They're known for their missing child posters and the forensic artists to create age-progressed composites that highlight certain features. The center says that keeping Summer's name and face circulating is the best way to generate tips and leads, even 5 years later.
Anytime we can work to keep a missing child image out into the community, let the community know that a child's still missing, we increase, hopefully, the right person, the possibility of the right person saying, you know, I recall something about that day. I thought it was nothing at the time, but I should say something, right? And that's what we're pushing for.
Age-progressed photos are created every 2 years, and the center will release another one of her next year if law enforcement wishes that they do so. Now, we did reach out to Summer's parents, Dawn and Candace Wells, for an interview. They declined, but they did want to thank those who care about their daughter, Summer, and they say that kindness and prayers mean a lot to them. They also, quote, say that only God can restore our family.
Ansley, thanks. Again, Summer Wells is still missing. There is an active Amber Alert still for her. Take a look at a photo on the left, what she looked like around the time of her disappearance, and then the age-progressed photo.
So how you guys feeling? All right, I'm back. I'm on the case. I've got a whole playlist for y'all. I'm on the case. Thank you for giving the update. It's shameful that it has been this long. I agree, and especially when I get into the topics. Who got declined? Oh, they declined to have an interview. All right, so you guys, a quick parenting tip. If you're ever a new parent, a lot of you guys are younger or already have your grown children. But let me tell you something real quick. I'm gonna bring it back to to Baby Guilty. You can't just do everything your best. Don't do everything your best. Don't give everything you got because it's always expected. Okay, so listen, I ordered Baby Guilty food. Now she's gonna be 12 soon, right? She can serve her own food and get her own stuff. But it's funny, when she was little, you know those plates that they give for kids, and each plate you put like a food group, so you get your meat, your rice, your vegetables, and your fruit or whatever. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. So I used to serve her that, and every slot had to be full. Well, now that she's 11 going on 16, when I feed her like that, she still wants every color of food group, including whatever on it, but the tray's like huge now. So watch what you do when your kids are little, because if you do it too well, they're not going to want to do it for them damn selves. All right, I'm back. What's up, Hope 8? Good to see you. Glad to see you again. Yeah, she used those too, but now it's like a 5-star restaurant. Every time I feed her, I have to have a tray, and it's got to have all the different groups, and it's the size and the portion of what a man would eat. Yes, I said it. A man size portion. All right. Yeah, Mama Pearl, ask Mama Pearl. She would eat Mama Pearl out of house and home. All right, let's continue. So anyway, that's what I was doing. Summer Wells, guys, she needs justice. She needs to be found, and that is the the updated progress pictures. But I'm gonna go back to the pictures of the house in a sec.
Photos released 3 years ago and then last year. If you have information about what may have happened to her, you're asked to call 1-800-TBI-FIND.
The search for Summer Wells continues.
All right, we didn't do that one yet, but before that, I want to go back to the property so you guys can see some of the things going on. You guys, I love telling you guys stories like that because it's true, but you guys think it's funny and it's real. That's my life. That's why I'm drinking Starbucks right now. Just imagine the big trays. So I order the trays from like Etsy that have the handles and shit. So I'm like a butler / Uber driver / super mom / I don't know. Anyway. All right, let's continue. Yeah, it's funny. Girl, mac and cheese. You can't just have mac and cheese. What are you talking about? It's got to be mac and cheese. There's got to be fish and chips with the mac and cheese. There's got to be some greens in there. There's got to be some fruits. And then there's got to be a drink or two. What are you talking about? Mac and cheese, my ass. I wish I would have just done one freaking thing. Now I'm stuck getting I had to like fill the little, guys, I did that to myself. I know. All right, let's continue. All right, so, and she also ordered from Alaskan crab place. That's what we just got. I was like, hey, can we just do some like panda or something? And she's like, no, I want this. And she gives me a picture with king crab. Okay? King crab. Happy birthday. Where's Crafty? Let's wish Crafty a very happy birthday. Crafty, where are you? Happy birthday. Oh, there you are, Crafty. I'm having burnt ends and cornbread takeout. Well, that sounds good. Happy birthday. If it's your birthday, everybody's wishing you a happy birthday. No. Where's my Grey Poupon? More like, this is rubbish. What is this rubbish? I'm sending that back to the kitchen. Just dump the whole tray out. Remember Hell's Kitchen? Yep. I will be real good on that show. They always get sent back to the kitchen, man. Yes, very happy birthday to you. And this is why we love live streams, right? All right, let me thank Foxy for the Guilty of Crime membership. DJ for being a member for a month. Keep coming back. Carrie Campbell, everything about these people make me sick. Thank you for saying that and not having to, because I want to say a lot more than I do, Carrie, but I try to keep it, So anyway, thank you. Anyone else wants to go towards our goal? Let's go. She Vegas spoiled now. Girl, she been on that. Ever since she got her taste of seafood at 4, we took her to a sushi place and she's loved it ever since. So I don't know. What do I got? Oh, nice. Timothy Hudson was taken into custody and will stay there until trial. Oh, yeah. Then that means we're going to cover this tomorrow, right? Thanks. Breaking news, y'all. Isn't that great? Pardon me. Do you have any Grey Poupon? All right. That's awesome. Awesome news. Awesome. All right. Let's continue, because Summer Wells is only going to get probably some attention now until something else comes out, and then it won't. Then nobody's even looking at what's going on here. Okay. All right. So there's a property, guys. I don't know if you've seen it before, but I mean, if she was out there with the extensive searches that have happened in this case, her body she would have been found. All right. So this is the 1,000-foot view property line. It looks a lot cleaner than it does when it's close up. That's for sure. All right. There's that freaking shack, the pedo shack. That's what it reminds me of anyway. It reminds me of pedos needing to have their private time back here and take them out to the woodshed. All right. It's not good. Not good at all. I mean, this reminds me of Jack and Lily, right? Thank you. Prayers for Precious Summer. I mean, that's like Jack and Lily. Jack and Lily is Summer Wells 2.0, right? And yes, Anna, we're going to get back to Anna Kepner. Justice for her. That little mother trucker needs to stay there. And I do hashtag hope that he hashtag has no lube, hashtag dry, hashtag drop the soap, buddy. All right. Okay. All right. Let's continue. I'm getting sidetracked. It's Summer Wells, guys. Summer Wells. So anyway, you guys have been here. If you haven't, we took you through the house. We're going to go a little bit back through it again, but I just wanted to show you where this kid was. She didn't have much of a chance. What the fuck is all this? I mean, I understand doing projects, guys. I do. But this is not a project. This is like some tweaker ass shit right here. This is like they just been up for like 2 weeks. And so they started taking wood apart and doing what? I don't know. If you guys know what that is, let me know. Hashtag drop the soap. Drop that soap. Yeah, man. Love you, Jay, for real, man. I know. But what is this? I mean, seriously, I would not let anybody. I wouldn't let anyone stay there. And I've said it before. I wouldn't let my dogs stay the night at that house. It's disgusting. All right. And what are they doing back there? Oh, all right. Let's continue, because I could sit here all day just being pissed. Now, did I do the what the TBI said? I already gave you the statement, right? From TBI. Well, no, it was a different one. Let's check this out real quick. I'm trying to give you all the latest coverage. All right. And that is the latest coverage of Dawn holding up that damn shirt that looks like he found in the trash can. Didn't even try. All right.
continues 5 years after her disappearance from Hawkins County. According to the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office, Summer was last seen on June 15th of 2021 walking away from her home on Ben Hill Road in the Beach Creek community. And despite a still active Amber Alert, there's
Guys, the story changes, and when I get to it, please, I assure you, I know we've been here for only 35 minutes, but you don't want to miss today's episode. So like, subscribe, share, and if you have friends that don't know what to watch right now, or they're watching a stream from old Summer Wells stuff, bring them over. All right, bring them over because it's a good one tonight. Yeah, super poor has nothing to do with dirty. You can be poor AF and live in a trailer with one blanket, a little bit of heat, but you don't got to be nasty, filthy tweaker pigs. All right, tweaker pedo pigs. Poor doesn't mean that you're dirty. And it doesn't mean that you're a pedo and you're disgusting. All right, poor has nothing to do, in my opinion, with the fact that her hair looks like that. She probably hasn't bathed in days, and this tweaker's watching TV like it's his job. Well, it probably is his job, but I wouldn't even feel safe with him in the same room with my animal. Nowadays, we're getting all these animal charges. People are doing bestiality, and you know what? I don't put it past any of them. Yes, people under the stairs. That's it. Shite. That doesn't happen in socialist countries. Well, send me where I need to go because tweaker ass shit is not the business. All right, let's continue. I got a good one for y'all today. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for the support already.
There's been no sign of her since. In the days after her disappearance, crews searched more than 3,000 acres using helicopters, planes, drones, and scent tracking dogs. And since that time, state and federal law enforcement agencies have gotten involved in the search for Summer. And this morning, we have a new statement from the director of the TBI, David Roush, on the progress of the investigation.
Yes.
Roush says, quote, "From the very beginning, our focus has been on Summer and finding out what happened to her. We never imagined her case would remain unsolved after 5 years. We have made progress over the last year, but there are still many unanswered questions. We continue to urge anyone with firsthand information regarding Summer's disappearance to come forward. Even the smallest detail could make all the difference in this case," end quote. If you have any credible tips in the Summer Wells case, you can contact law enforcement by calling 1-800-TBI-FIND.
All right, hold on. All right, so I got one more clip for you, the 5 after, and then we're going to the creepiest shit. The creepiest of creepy. So, guys, trigger warning. Who knows what I'm going to say today? I don't know what I'm going to say today. It's Monday. I had a great weekend. I didn't sleep that much because I got home at like 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning, and then I worked all day. So you gotta pardon me, but I do want justice for Summer Wells and Anna Kepner, guys, the cruise ship killer. I'm so happy that the judge ordered Timothy Hudson to be taken in by the U.S. Marshals. The U.S. Marshals now has that little piece of shit in custody. If you remind me at the end, I'll show you a clip just to catch you up to speed, all right? Little piece of shit. All right. You guys come on. You come here because I make you laugh, but I also tell facts. Right? Right. All right. Let's go. Let's continue. I answer myself all the time in real life too, so don't worry. I'm used to talking to myself, guys.
For the Rogersville community, but also the online community, with speculation reaching a fever pitch at times. People pointed fingers at the parents, blamed law enforcement, and came up with endless theories about what really happened. But 5 years later, we still don't have answers.
This was day one back in June of 2021. 5-year-old Summer Wells was missing, and the clock was ticking.
We have a total of 41 agencies involved in being represented in the search for Summer Wells.
And this is not the same clip. I just want you to understand where we're coming from. Yes, facts. I might talk shit, but I make sure to back it up with the facts. All right? I'm never going to go half cock. Guys, Jay's got wild hair today, right? Because it's not all like, yeah, that's how my personality is too, Jen's a gypsy. If my hair looks like that, then it means that I'm crazy today. Same, Jay, I live alone. I do not live alone, but nobody listens to me anyway. So I just talk to myself. It's like talking to myself. All right, what's up, Eastern girls? Good to see you. It's been a minute. All right, you do too. Yeah, I just talk. No one listens, so I just talk anyway.
Summer's father, Don Wells, said at the time that his daughter was out planting flowers with her mom and grandmother, but then went inside to play with her toys.
So she went down there and she was gone. So she went out the basement door, which was unlocked. I mean, we're looking at everything, crossing everything.
Guys, pay attention how many times the story changes and how different it changes. Because next we're getting to go to Creepy Don, and the things he says and the things that Candace says, it's not doing it. All right, thank God nobody likes half a cock. Well, you never know, Callilicious. I don't want to get too much in detail, but if you buy my book, you might know about that. Plant flowers, but no flowers. I know, and that's what I'm saying. We're getting to it, guys. There's a lot.
He dotting every I and turning every stone.
Sheriff Ronnie Lawson remembers that day well. He had to rush from home to the scene on his wedding anniversary.
We had a lot of people show up in a short period of time. We were hoping we would find her before dark.
You did.
We did.
Nope.
It wasn't long after that the trail went cold, but the sheriff says the case never did.
Nope.
It happened under my watch, and it was very important that we find her. And people says it was a cold case or that we really didn't care. We exhausted every avenue we could, every resource, trying to find her, and we're still looking. It was a lot of pressure and still is.
It's a pressure that's been complicated by the glare of the media spotlight, the online conspiracy theories, and the challenging relationship with the Wells family.
And this is why, I want you to get a picture of him. This is why I wanted to play this clip, because I wanted you to see what this fool's peddling, how he looks, what his display. It's like, I mean, guys, listen. I know we can't all age as well as some of us, right? We don't all age like fine wine, but I got to tell you, if you look back at me from 5 years ago, I'll tell you what, you see the aging in this man, not only from the possible drugs, but from what is in his head, from what he knows about his daughter's disappearance, sexual abuse prior, all the DR rugs that he's been doing. Guys, they didn't even show it in the thing. They showed it so fast because it's embarrassing. He's got this picture. Now look at this little girl. And what's up? Happy Pride Month, Eastern girls. Good to see you. All right. Look at this. I mean, what is this? I'm going to pull myself out first. Guilt. Thank you. That's what I wanted to say. Guilt. You look at me or you, Hope Fear or Panda Ann from 5 years ago, and we're not going to look like we did something bad to somebody. All right. I hope not. But take a look real quick. Look at this. I'm going to pull this down and pull this down. I don't know why they made her look like a grown woman in this picture. It bothers me. It's like, and you can't see her lips on this one because you can't see it on this one because they like cut it out. It's down here. She's got like lipstick on and they makeup, and they don't even show the whole thing because it's all wrinkled.
With the Wells family.
We never really got to talk to them to any length. So I really don't know. Sometimes I feel like they knew something.
Now, I have to go back for a second. Did you hear what he just said? I've never really talked at length with the family about this. Yeah, this is not age progression. In my opinion, the makeup is sexualizing her, and the dad has said that since day one. All right? They said that since freaking day one. But listen, you know who has had extensive talks with him, Holly? Dolly, Chris, from the interview room. Why are the Wells family talking to everybody except for the people that they're supposed to be talking with? You tell me, and we'll both know. All right, let's continue.
But I don't know for sure. I feel like the family could have watched her better.
Crazy, dude.
Paid more attention to her. If she was as active as that, or that small, should have paid more attention to her.
It does.
Even her brothers.
We asked Don Wells directly about those allegations of his family's involvement when we spoke with him back in 2024.
So you can say you had nothing to do with your daughter?
Yeah, I absolutely can.
2 years later, not much in the case has changed.
I mean, you see his eyes. I don't think it's even a debate that this guy is heavily on something, but I mean, come on, when you have eyes, period, you're going to have blue eyes with like a black, right? You got a black in the middle. This guy's got pin drops. At least put some shades on, bud. How did he age? Look at him, guys. Yeah, a bunch of pedos. That's what I want to know. I hear you. All right, let's continue. There's some movement in the John Benet Ramsey case, by the way, too.
2 years later, not much in the case has changed, but tips are still coming in. The sheriff says 19 in just the last month, and both local and state investigators are still pleading for anyone with information to come forward.
We never imagined her case would remain unsolved 5 years later. We have made progress over the last year, but there are still many unanswered questions.
Well, I just know that I'm retiring, but I don't want them to stop looking for Summer. I want somebody to find her, even if it's not me.
It's not going to be you, guy.
Eventually. I don't know about in this life, but eventually, yeah.
Now,
Many people also
now at that 6-month mark, guys, they also declined. The Wells family, her parents, declined to say anything. Yes, thank you. That's called some pinpoint pupils, if I've ever seen some.
have asked for an update on Summer's 3 older brothers. Well, the parents signed over their parental rights to the state. Sheriff Lawson tells me he checks in on the boys often and says they're doing well.
God, why in the world? You guys tell me, why in the world would a parent give up their rights to their 3 children, just sign them away? If that's any indication of what they did to Summer Wells, then it gives you a great idea that she was probably abused, trafficked, and then tossed away like garbage when they were done with her and she was too used and abused. And I hate to say that, guys, again, trigger warning, because I'm just telling you, it's real talk. It's what happens to children that are born into families like that. All right. Why sign your right away to your other children? What? I'm watching TIR Summer. Amazing coverage on. TIR. I don't know what that is. All right, let's continue. What's up, One Love? Good to see you. Real talk. All right, so that is age progression, not sexualization. In my opinion, what he did with his daughter's picture looked more sexualized than anything. It didn't look. He took an old picture and they put makeup on her. We saw this already. I just wanted to go into somehow. It got creepier. How is that possible that this case can get even creepier than just that? All right, I'll tell you how. Let's continue. Guys, we got a big discussion today, too. I love that everybody's coming together and talking about this case. But I do wish, and I'm calling content creators that come here all the time. Yeah, okay, it was the interview room. I didn't even think about that. I was just talking about the interview room. All of these creators that come into my chat, Flojo, Dr. Vonna, guys, I'm back from CrimeCon Vegas. I got the whole summer to collab or to come on your panel or to help boost your channel for us to combine communities. Come on. I'm putting the offer out there. All right. So I'm just saying, I've got all summer long to collab, to go on panels, for you to come up. You reach out. Reach out, my friends. Reach out. All right. Dr. Vonna, I'm calling you out. Saucy Skin CBD. All right. It just got creepier. Not because you came in, but because of this.
One of the last places Dawn Wells' daughter, Summer, was known to be.
We love and miss her very much and wish that she could come home very much because she was kind of the bossy boss around here. And we just miss our children, man. We had 4 children running around here like crazy.
The then 5-year-old has been at the center of an Amber Alert since June 15th of 2021.
It's been a while, but we finally have an update on the disappearance of Tennessee tot Summer Wells, and it's bizarre. So in today's video, let's break it down. I'm Deception Detective, an attorney trained in statement analysis. This channel exposes lies and manipulation. So if that's your thing, hit subscribe. For exclusives and other cool perks, join the channel. Link in description. If you followed my...
Now, right after this video, it's only about 7 minutes. Right after this video, we're going straight back to TBI so I can show you what they have. Because what TBI and FBI are doing are really the most important here. All right. So FBI, I'm glad that they've stepped up and stepped in. But those are the people that are going to give the most credible facts. This is just me saying this man is creepy AF. All right. And I'm not talking about your guys' eye candy, right? Because he's definitely gotten more handsome over the years. I was looking back at his older videos and I was like, I think he's picking up on the ladies here in chat saying, you'll see what I mean. What's up, Cheeky? Good to see you. All right. How does it get creepier? This is how.
Analysis of this case, you already know I think Don Wells, Summer's dad, is a twisted psychopath. But just in case, here's a quick clip of what he's like off camera before we analyze this new on-camera interview. Listen to the things he considers a kidnapper might be doing to her.
Yep.
And ask yourself, might he be projecting things he would do to Summer onto somebody else?
Yep.
Somebody has hurt her, essentially maybe beat the fuck out of her while they killed her. I always had this feeling that something was going to happen to her. I've always knew that something was going to happen to Summer. Something in my gut has always told me. My little girl right there, I think her in the park. That poor little girl, she got a body from hell. I think all her flashes all over her park.
I mean, wait, are you guys hearing this? He's talking about his daughter having a body from hell, probably sexual, maybe beat the fuck. What? I've seen this before, but I know it's been a while. Are you kidding me? I mean, you might have to read the screen because it's kind of hard to see, but I mean, what? The stuff he says in the interview he's had with many YouTubers and such. What? Hey, Elvin, good to see you. I'm glad that you found guilty of crime. Hey, Indy Isham, good to see you, my friend. Yeah, and we're not going back. Now, here, I think something's happening behind the scenes that they don't want out there, and that's why they're not giving statements, because TBI and FBI are still searching that area that they were searching when we were talking about it here. Let's continue. No, this is about his little girl. He's saying he always thought that he said that about another young girl. Listen, he was talking about Summer, I thought. Did I get that wrong? Talking about awful things that might have happened to Summer. So maybe he said something about someone else another time, but right here he's talking about awful things that might have happened to Summer, his daughter.
And ask yourself, might he be projecting things he would do to Summer onto somebody else?
Somebody has hurt her, essentially maybe beat the fuck out of her while they killed her. I always had this feeling that something was going to happen to her. I've always knew that something was going to happen to Summer. Something in my gut has always told me. My little girl right there, I think her in the park. That poor little girl, she got a body from hell. I think all her flashes all over her park. She'll be pregnant. She ain't pregnant.
He's talking about a 12-year-old girl, and he's saying she will be pregnant. What is he revealing here? He's revealing that he thinks it's common.
Yep.
It's a given that people will be attracted to a 12-year-old. He's revealing that, just like he said it was probable that someone was sexually assaulting Summer, he's saying it's probable that a 12-year-old girl will be pregnant.
Okay, so both are the truth. He was talking about another girl, but he was also talking about his daughter. Who even thinks like that? And you guys know my blood is already boiling as it is, right? We just talked about baby guilty and her food tray and her being 11. This mother trucker is talking about a 12-year-old being pregnant and having a body. What? Yeah, I think the norm for him and his pedo friends. All right. Oh my God. I don't know why. I don't know why that these people have not been arrested for something.
It tells us about him. There's plenty more in that video, and I'll link it on the end card if you want to watch the rest. But for now, I think you get the idea. These aren't things that we want to hear any adult saying, let alone the father of a missing little girl. All right, now that we're all acquainted with Don Wells, let's watch.
This weekend marks 4 years since a Hawkins County girl was last seen. 5-year-old Summer Wells was reported missing from her home on Ben Hill Road in the Beach Creek community on June 15th, 2021. On your left, a photo shared by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation when the Amber Alert was issued. On your right, an age-progressed photo released 2 years ago of what she may look like. News Channel 11's Angela Daniel spoke with Summer's father, Don Wells, as the 4-year mark of his daughter's disappearance approaches.
Nearly 4 years ago, 5-year-old Summer Wells disappeared from her home here in Hawkins County. It's believed that she walked out of this door and hasn't been seen since. And today, there are still no answers as to.
And guys, when we start getting, we haven't even got into this. I feel like we're just in the introduction right now. When we get into this and bring everybody together after this clip, because the interview room and everybody's coming together at the 5-year mark, you're going to be even more heated. So grab your drink, grab what you need, chill out, relax, take your hashtag, take your meds. This is not an easy episode thinking about what happened to Summer Wells and the fact that they're still searching for her and in a specific place. Now, like currently, this is not a cold case.
Where she could be.
It's 4 years too long. My thoughts and feelings haven't changed. I mean, I've been heartbreak, continual heartbreak for the past 4 years.
This very yard is one of the last places Dawn Wells' daughter Summer was known to be.
We love and miss her very much and wish that she could come home very much because she was kind of the bossy boss around here. And we just miss our children, man. We had 4 children running around here like crazy.
Even if you haven't seen my other videos in the series breaking down every minute detail of that property and the parents, you should already see some of the red flags for abuse and neglect. Most obviously that there was so little adult supervision that 5-year-old Summer Wells was able to simply just wander off the property without anyone knowing. Less obviously though is the shaved head Summer had in that clip of her on the tire swing, because that too is associated with abuse and neglect. I won't rehash why here since I've covered it in other videos in the series, and frankly because it's just so disturbing. Finally, right at the end there, you heard Dawn say that they had 4 kids on the property. And that's because one of them, Summer, mysteriously vanished, and the other 3 were taken away by CPS. But it gets even worse, so let's keep watching.
Then 5-year-old has been at the center of an Amber Alert since June 15th of 2021.
Look at her picture with her head shaved and then an age progression. I mean, let alone when you look at the father that goes onto a news station the way he does, he's neglectful of himself. Imagine what he's doing with little girls, little kids. That's why you don't have the 4 children anymore, mister. I know.
Crews searched the Beach Creek community for weeks, with law enforcement receiving numerous tips that never panned out.
We haven't talked to them in a long time. We let Chris and Trudy, our private detectives, deal with TBI and Hawkins County because, I don't know, anyway, it's just better that they do that.
These faded signs all throughout the Beach Creek community are a sign of hope that Summer Wells could still come home nearly 4 years after she disappeared from her home on Ben Hill Road.
It's very bad. And then when you add the social media pressure, of them saying that we're suspects or whatever, that just adds to it. And it's kind of living a nightmare.
Summer's mother, Candace, has only spoken to us on camera once. She declined to be a part of this interview minutes before we started recording.
She wanted to, but all the fears started creeping up, of what happened, in the beginning with the social media and everything, hunting us down everywhere we go and trying to basically ruin us everywhere we go. And she's just having nightmares.
After Summer's disappearance, the Wells' 3 oldest boys were put into Department of Children's Services custody, with Dawn and Candace eventually.
Did anybody realize that? I mean, I know a lot of you people followed this case religiously because, I mean, it's been 5 years, right? But you start to forget all the things that happened. I don't think I realized this until the last year when we hit the 4-year mark that all the kids were gone. Something is way not right in that house when they lost all of their children. One just disappeared from a locked back door. Oh wait, but her mom didn't know if it was locked. She says that as she unlocks the deadbolt.
Fighting their rights over.
We haven't received any updates from them, no contact. And in fact, they deleted the phone number, blocked my phone as soon as we got done with that case and signed our children over.
And still today, one word describes their entire situation.
It's heartbreaking.
In Hawkins County, Ansley Daniel, News Channel 11.
As I said, it gets worse, and that's because this clip showed a pattern of inconsistencies we've seen across a bunch of missing child cases, which I consider to be hoaxes, like William Turle in Australia, Lily and Jack Sullivan in Canada, and Sebastian Rogers, also from Tennessee. In all 4 cases, we have a vulnerable kid who supposedly just wanders off into the woods. However, even the most extensive and sophisticated of search operations can't find a single trace of where they went, almost as if the kid either turned into a ninja or a Navy SEAL overnight, or they never went into the woods at all. Next, we have the mom, who was either there at the time that the kid disappeared.
And you see why we like Deception Detective, right? They just disappeared. That's it. That's all. Kids are gone. Oh, girl, they didn't actually have a bathroom. That's bad for the kids to be in the home. We're going to get into the house portion of it too, right? Not good. Those people are not fit to be parents.
Or was the one who noticed that the kid was gone. Yet she's not the one who does press. Instead, it's the dad who has way less information about what happened doing all the press. Again, almost as if something weird is going on, like they don't understand that the mom would be the best one to relay.
Kind of like Chris and Katie, how Chris was not there when Sebastian went missing, but yet he's the spokesperson for the missing Sebastian kid, right? Oh, no, don't say it. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Really? That's not good. I'm gonna see if I can drop one real quick, and then I will. That's not good. But thank you for letting me know. I'm gonna try Indy real quick. Let's finish this up. We got a lot more
Information and garner sympathy from the public, or something more mundane and obvious is going on. Like they're more interested in protecting themselves than actually soliciting help finding their kid. But the biggest red flag of all is one that we see in even more of the cases that I think are hoaxes, like Madeleine McCann, John Benet Ramsey, Madeline Soto. And it's this: the parents reserve most of their anger and vitriol and complaints for their critics, rather than the person who supposedly kidnapped their kid, or rather each other. Because after all, in all these cases, one parent was alone at the time the kid disappeared. How could they possibly know that that parent didn't do something? That's why so many actual innocent parents of missing children, like the parents of Dylan Ayler, end up splitting up, because that doubt eats at them. If my theory about what happened to Summer Wells is correct, it's the most disturbing missing child case we've ever analyzed on the channel. If you want to continue this series, let me know by liking, commenting, and sharing. Until next time, stay true.
Stay true, y'all. No, it works. It's just not letting me right now because I need to update my credit card. Is the option gone, Indy? Because it's coming up on mine. It's really weird. Look, wait, check this out. I don't want it to, if that happens, like maybe sometimes people will report or you do something wrong, but yeah, there's nothing here. Look it's letting me do a super chat, but I just need to update my card because I just got my stolen, my card got stolen. So look, I'm right on the page. If you guys can see it, you hit that little $sign. You can do membership gifting, upgrade your membership, or you can do a super chat. You guys can give me $50 if you want. You can give me $400, $500, or you can give me $1. No, it's all there. My credit card is just not on it yet. Thank you for trying it. Appreciate you. I don't like getting hung up on that. It just bothers me because sometimes people will report your channel or something for something you didn't do. All right, now I'm going to go back to the TBI 5 years ago or 5 years later and what I want to show you from them. And then we're going to get into just some great conversations. Oh my goodness. And more information, of course. 5 years later, where's Summer Wells? Thank you. Patty says it's working. Golden N says it's working. Thank you. That's one way to get people to super chat. It's not working. I didn't do that. I swear. All right. Apple phones. Okay. All right. Here we go, guys. Check this out from TBI. This is what I wanted to show you earlier, but when I restarted my computer, I lost all my stuff that was bookmarked. So 5 years ago, right? This is the channel station that we are watching. TBI posted this 5 years ago. Summer Wells disappeared from her home on Ben Hill Road. Today, and I'm talking about today, the TBI agents continue to work alongside FBI and Hawkins County to pursue all credible leads. Our commitment to finding answers hasn't changed and won't. Let's check this out. Age progression. I don't like that picture. It bothers me. Thank you. 17 months. 16 months. Woo. Thank you. I'll do it like this.
From the very beginning, our focus has been on Summer and finding out what happened to her. We never imagined her case would remain unsolved 5 years later.
And this is the TBI director. He's a spokesperson. So I want to document 5 years later what happened, where we are, what's happened, and what we're doing moving forward. Indy Isham, thank you so very much for the $9.99. Thank you, Jay, mods, and crew. This is a tough subject. It is. My goodness. But I don't just cover children cases, which makes it so much easier. Choo choo. Thank you. Yeah, definitely I can't do day in, day out kids cases. Yeah, this is TBI giving an update. So we've got TBI and FBI working together, and they're currently they alluded to the fact that it's not cold. They're saying there's no cold case. There's an area that they're searching, and they think they have something. All right. Mama Pearl, $1.99, and then Jack Stormo. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. If I missed anybody, I won't. 10 months. Thank you. 10 months, and we're back. Okay. So yes, this is TBI talking about 5 years today and the progression. Let me start over. Let me just start here so you get a direct, the quote, you get it all together. I don't cut it up.
From the very beginning, our focus has been on Summer and finding out what happened to her. We never imagined her case would remain unsolved 5 years later.
Right.
We have made progress over the last year, but there are still many unanswered questions. We continue to urge anyone with firsthand information regarding Summer's disappearance to come forward. Even the smallest detail could make all the difference in this case.
That's an age progression, my friends. That is not the way you do. That is not the way you do what this guy did with that wrinkly ass shirt. I'm telling you, not good. Even the news happened to cut it off. That picture creeps me out. Anybody else? Anybody else? Does that give you guys the ick? And it's literally Summer Wells at 5 years old, simply sitting next to her dad on the couch. But it gives me a bad feeling. All right, now let's get into it, guys. I brought everybody together. I was like, all right, this is what we're going to do. Because I searched and I searched and I searched, and there are some great episodes. A lot of great creators are talking about this, but I brought it all into one. All right, and everybody's going to be talking about this when I'm done streaming and probably for the next week. Summer Wells' case needs attention. Check this out.
By her swing, I feel in my heart that somebody has came up here and took her, has lured her away from here.
I knew right away that she was abducted. You know, I knew that right away, and that's what I told him from the beginning.
From our friends at WJHL TV, how did the dad know she had been abducted immediately? That would not spring to my mind immediately if I could not find my children, either one of them.
We also don't go to straight to the fact that a 12-year-old's going to be pregnant by 12 and children being raped. That's not a thing, right? Because I don't know anybody that talks like that. And law enforcement and the news media, if you're smart and you research before you go do an interview with somebody like Don Wells, you ask the right questions and you'll get the answers different than you think. You ask the right questions to get those answers. That's what they're asking. What do you think happened? And he's telling a lot more than he should be. Oh, we're going down the bedroom in the path of nightmares. We're going. Look at her eyes. She's pissed.
Where is Summer Wells? Straight out to a special guest joining us tonight, Kristen Kwan, news anchor, News 5 WCYB there in Bristol. What happened? What happened at the time Summer Wells, just 5 years old, goes missing? And everybody, as Kristen Kwan is speaking, I want you to take a look at the photos we have amassed of this 5-year-old little girl.
Yeah, Nancy. So Summer Wells went missing on June 15th. That day, Candace, Summer's mother, told me that they had gone to run some errands. They had taken her to a local park where she went swimming, and then they came back to the house, their house on Ben Hill Road in Hawkins.
please pay attention to what she's saying and be with me, because guys, we're going to be here for another hour or so. Okay, so I want you guys to hopefully engage with me in this conversation and understand what probably happened and where we're going with the case. All right. Just because you're poor doesn't mean you have to be exactly. That has nothing to do. Poor has nothing to do. And you're right, Cole. She could have OD'd on methamphetamines. There could have been, they could have been doing fentanyl. They could have been doing uppers and downers, and she got a hold of it. But yeah, I do like the word of the day is hillbilly. All right, hillbilly. That's the word of the day. The bunch of hillbillies. Don't take it personal unless you're a hillbilly.
Hawkins County. And at that time, she was playing outside with her mom, with her grandmother. And she wanted to go back inside to play with some of her toys in the house. So Candace says that she walked Summer to the house. She went inside the house. Candace went back with the grandmother to finish up some things outside and in the yard. And that's when they realized a few minutes later that she was missing.
She's so cute. And guys, that story just doesn't jive. You gotta just in the first 2 minutes, it doesn't jive. We started off reading an article about how Summer Wells was outside planting flowers, even to the point where her mother took law enforcement to say, look, these were the flowers that she was planting. She never talked about walking her into the house. They weren't even talking about flowers. They just talked about a pool. They were swimming. What? I think that she died. I think she died. I think Summer Wells, something happened in the house and she died. Or it was a accumulation of things that happened in the house and graping situations. And before anybody did anything, she was already dead and gone somewhere else away from wherever they were. That's what I think. All right. I think she was absolutely SA'd, and that's just her body's somewhere out there, and I don't think it's too far. Yeah, they took her to a park and swam in a nasty river, but they didn't say that. That is I just don't understand how you don't have heat on you when you keep changing your story and then you decline. Now the past 2 times when it was was it her birthday or it was the first lead in a long time, they declined to comment, guys.
Okay, so she goes in the house to play, and then just a few minutes later, she's vanished. Do I have that correct, Kristen?
Yes, thank you. Never.
Okay, I'm trying to digest that. Let's hear what the parents say.
Me and my mother and her were planting flowers. And we went in after we got done washing our hands, and she got a piece of candy from Grandma, and she wanted to go back over and see her brothers. And I said, okay. And I walked her all the way over to the porch, and I watched her walk into the kitchen where the boys were watching TV. And I told the boys, I said, watch Summer. I'll be back. And within 2 minutes, I came back. And I asked the boys where their sister was, and they said, she went downstairs, Mom, to play with her toys in the playroom. I said, okay.
Guys, she is high as a kite. They might as well have just got one of the members from the Walking Dead cast to do this interview, because there's nothing. And I'm not naive that she's not on something, but it's a completely different story and it makes no sense. Not only that, whatever speed she's sped up on or slowed down, 2 minutes could be 2 days, according to her. All right, dude, she's all out. She's done. Yeah, you can afford drugs, but not candy. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
And I yelled downstairs for her a couple times.
That's
and
not
I
what
didn't
you
get no answer, which was unusual because usually she always answers me. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight. She was just gone.
From WJHL TV to Brian Fitzgibbons joining us, Director of Operations, USPA Nationwide Security, former Marine, Iraqi war vet. His business is finding missing people. How many people go missing from their own home, never to be seen again?
None.
Yeah, hey, there's quite a few across the country that go missing each year. Now, only a very small percentage of it's something like 600,000 people a year go missing in the United States. in less than 1%, or around 1%, will actually remain missing. So this is very rare.
Yeah, guys, I don't know that we're ever going to find her body. And I hate to say that, but we do want justice for Summer Wells. It's been 5 long years and they do have a lead. Law enforcement, FBI has stated that they have a lead, but they're not going to tell us what it is, obviously. And yes, thank you so much, Golden Hen. Absolutely, she was on something. They've admitted to being addicts. I don't know if she was on a downer that day. She had just done an upper and a downer, but there was zero emotion, zero anything. And I'm telling you, what I see now with those people, Don and Candace, all I see now with them is regret. Look at the difference between the pictures back then. And thank you so much for that $20 super chat or super chat. You see them look at the bottom right and then move to the left. I mean, guys, this is age progression at its finest. This is what, if this is me in like 40 years from now, part of the Walking Dead cast when I'm 87 years old. No wonder the kids got taken away, and it's not funny, but I mean, if you don't see it, then you're naive. So I just want you guys to know that. Yeah. Look at him. No pride in himself. He's got his daughter, in my opinion, up there on the screen, sexualized in that t-shirt, on the t-shirt. And where did he pull it out of? Where did he find that crumbled up ass shirt from anyway? She's so beautiful, guys. Say a prayer that she gets the justice she deserves and that they do find something to put her to lay her to rest. Damn, man.
This is a very rare occurrence.
To go missing in your own home.
Yeah, from your own home with a child, you're typically dealing, a child with Summer's age, you're typically dealing with one of 3 scenarios. The first could be that the child walked away and got lost. The second is that something happened to that child inside the home, usually from a family member or a close associate, and that body was hidden. And then the third possibility is a stranger abduction or somebody in the outer sphere.
So right now, he just gave 3 plausible causes. I'm going to tell you right now, the first 1 and 2 are the most plausible to me. The percent statistic-wise for an outside person that had never been there to go up in their business and go in their driveway with people that are well known to be not only doing, but maybe selling drugs and having guns. I dare them to come on my property. And that's why I say nobody came on that property and snatched Summer Wells up in the 120 seconds that Candace walked away, like she said, for 2 minutes. That just didn't happen. It simply didn't. And kids, dogs, people simply don't disappear either.
For a perimeter of that family.
Guys, with us, Brian Fitzgibbons, Director Operations USPA Nationwide Security. That is a team of investigators that go around the world finding and extracting missing people. Joining us now tonight, Chris McDonough, Director of the Cold Case Foundation, former homicide detective with
And we were going to do the interview
The
room,
main drive, and
but
the stranger.
she brought him here.
So it would take.
He's had some awesome episodes too, but I had to watch it at 2 times speed. Hollow says, "Hi peeps, I think the theory from the interview room about a possible dry drowning cover is valid. Something happened in the water that day and Hunter was there." Thank you for putting it out there. That's a possibility as well. Like I said, somehow she died on their watch, on their dime. They already knew that they had the other children and CPS was looking at them or what have you, and they just got rid of her body. Something. And I don't know if it was a dry drowning. You would think that she would be able to swim by that age, just because, by nature, when you're always out in the water, you're just thrown out like that. But who knows? Yeah, stranger abduction is like 5 to 7%. But statistically, a stranger abduction is probably less than that if someone goes to your house. Now, it's different if you're out at the mall or you're at Disneyland or wherever. Stranger abduction is going to go up statistically. But to go into your house, I showed you the upward view of the house and where you would have to go or where you would have to come from to get her. That's just not possible. And then the pig farm. Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. Let's continue.
Some type of a four-wheel drive and or a vehicle that has all-wheel drive, number one, to get up the hill. And then the area in of itself in a geographical profiling concept, it is a very rural area. You would have to know exactly where that house was. Why is that important? Because Summer was allegedly down in the basement of that home. And that would have meant, if it was a stranger abduction situation, Brian had mentioned, then of course you would have to know, number one, that she was in that basement at that moment. Yep. And then you would have to make your way up through either the woods and or up that driveway. And both of those are very difficult situations to accomplish to get that child off of that property. So the fact that she was in the basement makes this case a very, even statistically, it takes that number even higher in probability.
Chris, the scene that you videoed.
So if you look at that, Chris McDonough has done a fantastic job. If anyone deserves credit for doing the best on YouTube coverage, I got to say this, Chris McDonough has been extensive on this case and many others. I just have to watch him on 2 times the speed because killing me. But this came from February, I think 20 of 21 when they were searching. And it gives you a good idea of how the statistics are going to drop when you see where somebody would have had to have come from or where they would have to leave. It's just not plausible. Now, her drowning and them being afraid because they're high as a kite on who knows what, that's probably more possibility, a huge probability, actually.
It's very rural and mountainous. Describe it.
Well, the area in of itself, Hawkins County, Tennessee, it's what they call a holler. So it's a road that goes off of the main drive, and it's basically neighbors that have known each other for generations. So strangers just don't pull up into that area. You have to be.
But here's the thing, and you're right. Oh yeah. Here's the thing. I'm gonna go in a little bit deeper with that. Elizabeth Smart's kidnapper did do that. However, he was already in the area and had coveted who was in the house. He didn't just show up one day and have no idea. By the time he was identified, the kidnapper, the parents said, yes, we've seen that guy before. He did work for us or some handyman stuff around the house. Am I correct or am I thinking something different? So, that brings up your statistics even farther or pulls them down even farther when you realize it's somebody close or that covets previously, rather than like Athena, where the FedEx driver just came and snatched her up because he was having one of those days. See? So I'm just trying to tell you the probability goes up and it goes down. That FedEx thing, you know why the Athena Strand FedEx case hit me so hard? Is because that's one of those statistics that's so rare. It's so rare for your child to be playing outside in the front yard or just going to look for a package and your freaking delivery driver steal your kid and do what he did to her. All right. I think the interviews with the boys, what I do too. And I want to know what happened. I don't know why they're not talking either. They're in, I believe they're in foster care, and I don't know who has them or who would have done that, who would have talked to them. But what people covet things and they come back around. That's why you got to be careful if you have a routine, right? If you got a routine and every single day at 10 o'clock, you're going to go to Gold's Gym and go work out. And every day at 10 o'clock, 10:02, you see a certain guy pulling up, kind of just watching and then walking in. And every day, people covet what they want and they come back. It's rare and random that your first impulse is going to be to take them or go up a back hill and do all this shit that you don't even know to go to that extent without knowing that the golden goose is what they wanted is there. So let's continue. I know that is guys, this is the worst nightmare for anybody, the Athena Strand case, and I'm glad it's over.
Familiar. There's trees, there's steep hills, etc. And then when you get up into the house was under construction, like I mentioned, when this situation happened. And there was one part in the house, when you enter into the house, the boys, the other children of the home slept in a room right when you come in. And then to the right was a kitchen. But there was a bar. It looked like a breakfast bar of some sort that had a cutout in it.
And this is what I want you to see. Again, interview room, we get all of it. We get Nancy, we get the very serious guy. I'm over here talking. We get a combo rather than just one source. That's what I like about this one. See, right here. There you are. The interview room, TIR.
With a set of stairs that took you down into a basement. And there's no way you would have known that.
Good to see you.
In fact, when I walked in, the mom showed me that, breakfast bar, and I was looking for a set of stairs to, or another door to go down into the basement. She goes, no, it's right here underneath the breakfast bar. And I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Okay, wait. Okay, hold on just a minute. Let me understand what you're saying. You're saying that this little girl had to climb into the floor, down a trap floor, and lived under the basement?
Essentially, yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Mom said she went down into that basement, so she would have had to have gone through that cutout in the breakfast bar. And once you get into it, it's only you made less than 2 feet wide to get in. I had a very difficult time getting through it.
So, Chris, in a nutshell, Summer lived under the floor, right?
Yeah, that would be an accurate assessment. And there's only one door, Nancy, to the exterior from that basement.
Okay. Why does she have all her hair chopped off and a gash on her head? Do you know the answer to that, Kristen Kwan?
So I was told by her parents and by some of her friends that were close to Summer and the family that they had actually had lice at one point. And so they had shaved her head.
This is absolute, guys, that's ridiculous. I know that happens. Kids, that shit happens. You don't shave their head. Come on, let's just be real here. All right. I don't know what they did, or I don't know if they're lazy, like they're so lazy and cracked out at the same time. But yeah, their house is an epitome of mental illness. I don't think I can handle living so close up in that basement, that poor girl. And like someone said, who would know to get, a lot of people knew to get down there because those are the people that surrounded them. Pedos, drug addicts, drug dealers, and those sort of people. All right. All right, let's continue.
In order to get rid of the lice.
Okay. Moving forward. Back to Chris McDonough. The video. Why is the home full of stuff? It looks like a hoarder.
Yes.
Yeah, the place is extremely disheveled. And you're correct. They are collecting all kinds of stuff. And one of the most interesting things is when you start to get down into the basement, immediately you notice that there are only 2 rooms down there. To the left is where the parents allegedly slept. And then to the right is where Summer slept. But on the TV was inappropriate material. I think it was a TV show, Girls Gone Wild or something to that effect. So can you imagine the children being exposed just to that stuff alone?
And I'm going to stop it for a second to say that. I mean, that should never be played with any children in the room. And that's the kind of thing that is called grooming. You desensitize a child to something like that, and then they've seen it enough that it's not a big deal. Kelly Lynch, thank you for coming. Neglect, abuse, it's always the poor kids that suffer. Agreed. Oh my God. I'm surprised they didn't lose their kids before. Dilapidated shithole. Yeah, that's the first thing I saw was the TV show. So, I mean, who knows what he was watching there? He looked pretty interested in what he was watching on TV at that day, particularly, right? As little Summer just hangs out and looks like she hasn't brushed her hair or had a bath in a couple of weeks. Maybe that's what he's watching, is Girls Gone Wild right there. Because I think all of those people, in my opinion, are just a bunch of pedos. All right, let's continue.
And it felt like a dungeon.
Could you describe again the space where Summer Wells lived?
Yeah, so when you come down those stairs, Nancy, into the basement area, to the left is where the parents were, that was, quote, their room, but then to the right is Summer's room. And in that room, as you can tell, it's a concrete walled dungeon with the windows were blacked out with some materials. So it was dark, it was dreary, it smelled. It was just horrible for a 5-year-old child in any way, shape, or form to be in that environment.
Well, one thing though, Chris McDonough, I was raised to a large part by my grandmother, Lucy. So my mom and dad could go to work, and she lived alone in an old wooden home with a tin roof.
I know.
Some people would say it was old and decrepit, but
this is what we call tweaker windows, okay? I understand. Again, you can be poor, but you can be clean. There's plenty of people that are poor and clean at the same time. That reeks of what Chris McDonough is saying, and I'm sure he's said it before. I don't watch his stuff often unless I'm trying to get something out of it and I'm getting a summary, but that place reeks of letting people go down there and do things with children. That's what that reeks of. Like they got the TV on and they're watching that, and they're desensitizing them, and then that's the space they use. Or to even go down into their DR, you know what I'm saying?
it was clean and it smelled like good things on the stove. And that's how I remember it. I'm seeing a very different picture here, but in defense of Summer's family, you said the home was under construction and they were living in it?
Yeah, the property had been inherited by her father. It used to belong to his family. And, I get the fact that, there are some folks that, are poor. That's not a problem here. But the fact that you can be poor and also then you can also neglect your children around that environment, that's a different story. And I took this environment as a neglectful environment, not a poor environment. The fact that the house was under construction, they were doing it themselves, but that had taken years. And it only started to move forward after Summer's disappearance when Child Protective Services got involved and told them, you need to clean this house up.
Here is Don Wells, this is Summer's dad, defending claims they are unfit.
This is Don Wells. We're here to report to you that we've got official letters from the heads of DCS that we are cleared from any abuse or neglect on our parts towards our children. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
That is Don Wells on YouTube. I want you to listen to our friend Chris McDonough from the interview room interviewing Summer Wells' dad as he gives an interview of the home.
Where do you think she is? Well, at first I thought, it's got to be some sicko hillbilly druggie.
Damn.
In the woods or something, or somebody put her in her car and took her.
I mean, you guys, this is a strategy that law enforcement uses. And again, if you're good at what you do, right? If you're a YouTuber that's been doing YouTube for a long time and you're well versed with getting these people on and doing these interviews, those are the questions that you would ask. So when Don Wells says, first of all, well, what about in your gut? I was watching the news, you on the news channel, and when the reporter asked you, what's your fear and stuff, and what is your thought process, where do you think she is? Now, remember, let's go to Jen Soto, right? What's your biggest fear, Jen? My biggest fear is that Maddie and Stefan are going to run off together and be together without me. That was her biggest fear, which showed you what knowledge that she had in her head about what was going on. So when you listen to him saying this, he's telling you, I mean, people tell us what they want to, right? Some have duper's delight. At first they thought, it's got to be some sicko hillbilly druggie, drug her off in the woods, or, something, or somebody put her in a car and took her not too far away from whatever like that. But I'm starting to wonder if it isn't some high end thing. Maybe somebody's seen her on Facebook because my wife was always posting stuff. It could have been, she could be anywhere. My mind just goes back and forth. I don't have any idea, but I figured kind of that a lot of people were talking about the sex and the guy I fired, or I don't know, the XXX, whatever that means. When I fired him, he was so damn high on something. It was unbelievable. I don't know. So that goes to show you. And then Chris asks him, was he on meth? It goes to show you that his first thought is sicko, hillbilly, druggy pedos, because those are the people that he hung out with and that he had hanging around his house doing chores for him. All right. Exactly. I know. All right, let's continue.
Not too far away or whatever like that, but I'm starting to wonder if it isn't some high-end thing. Maybe somebody's seen her on Facebook, because my wife was always posting stuff on Facebook. It could have been, she could be anywhere. My mind just goes back and forth. I don't have any idea.
Chris McDonough, what is your understanding about what happened to Summer when she disappeared?
Well, there's various trains of thought. So from the family's train of thought is, like you said, Nancy, mom last saw her going into the house. She told her other children, keep an eye on Summer. And somehow Summer ended up in the basement, according to the other children. And this is coming also from the mother. This is the story that she's shared. And then the story changed, that the parents had said, well, there must have been a stranger parked down on the road, and he comes up through a dog trail and then knew that Summer was going to be in the basement, and then entered into the basement and took her out that door. The challenge with that particular story is the door had changed, open and closed, locked and closed at various times. So there's some discrepancies in that story.
Oh, and she gives different discrepancies of the story, and she shows that they keep it deadbolted. When she says, I don't know if it was deadbolt, I don't know if it was locked or not, and her first instinct was to unlock it. And then when she closes it, to lock it, which goes to show she knows that it was locked or unlocked. Did she keep it unlocked on purpose so when they came, they could claim that somebody came in and took their daughter? Yeah, probably. Montana Mystic, good to see you. Glad you're doing good things out there. All right, let's continue. Say a prayer for Summer Wells, that she gets the justice she deserves. FBI is working behind the scenes. They have made a statement that 5 years later, this case is not cold, guys. And they have information that they're working on, but they're just not going to tell us what. All right, let's continue. There's going to be a lot of that coming out in the next few days.
So, and then the third, of course, is she just vanished. Somehow walked out that door and just disappeared.
You mean like a magic trick, Chris McDonough? You know what I don't like when you say that. They quote, just vanished. Like, boop. No, nobody just disappears like I dream of Jeannie. That doesn't happen. Something happened to this child. And let me clarify, when you say she went down to the basement, you mean down that trap door?
Yes, down underneath that breakfast bar, we'll call it.
Look at that.
Okay. Joining us, an all-star panel to make sense of what we are learning. Back out to news anchor.
This is what I wanted today. I wanted to get the all-star panels. Thank you guys for being here. Do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, get a membership, all of the stuff. We got our goal up, and let's just chill in your chat with us, all right? She does look sad in most of the photos. I agree. She looks different in a lot of the photos. She looks dirty in a lot of the photos. Absolutely. Kelly, I've said that from day one, and I don't like to say that, all right? But I do want to say, today is 5 years since Summer Wells went missing. Everybody's gone on with their lives, including her parents that look riddled with guilt, by the way. All of their children are now taken away. And, the FBI and TBI are still working on this case. Now, of course, you guys know that they quote unquote say there's a lot of fake stuff on social media, the psychics and the YouTubers. That's what Sheriff Lawson said. They've hampered with this case and they've spread a lot of false information, and that ties up the manpower when you have to look into stuff like that. All right. So Summer Wells disappeared 5 years ago today from Hawkins County, Tennessee on June 15th, 2021. Now, TBI and FBI luckily are working together. I haven't heard of any pushback. But the federal agents have not only recently participated in searches, including a pig farm, but they allegedly have, I don't know if it's going to be called evidence, or they've collected property that they think may be evidence tied to this case. All right. They say the investigation remains very active and there's no publicly named suspects, but the pig farm has definitely been searched. The Hill Road, whatever that's called, Van Hill Road, the recent one. All right, let's continue. And the dogs didn't bark.
Or if they are now away from the influence of relatives.
Yeah, I would have to imagine that, getting a statement, getting an interview done with the siblings would be very important. Now, it would be challenging, right? Because, with children of that age who've been exposed to those conditions, building trust to get accurate statements from them is certainly not an easy task. But, one thing I want to highlight, that credible lead that TBI followed up in November, the fact that they actually physically went out there lends a lot to the credibility of that lead. And, hopefully something's coming to investigators through re-interviews, through new information that's moving this case forward.
Law enforcement following up on a brand new lead. To Chris McDonough, any idea what that lead is?
Yes, that lead is connected to the father's friends.
Awesome. See, I knew we would understand what it was about, and we're going to hear more and more as the time goes on, guys. Yeah, pigs absolutely will eat humans. The whole, what does the FBI know about Summer Wells 5 years later? Guys, I'm telling you, it's somebody in the family, in the vicinity, in the circle, in the friend group, and FBI has their eye on who it is, particularly. Now, just because Dawn and Candace may not have been the mastermind for whatever happened, maybe it was an accident, maybe they owed somebody money. Regardless, FBI has somebody in their crosshairs that they're looking at that's tied to the family. Will that be the lead that solves the case? Anyway, let's talk about it now. I know, surprise, surprise. It's not a surprise, but here's the thing is when you go on to other YouTube channels and you type in Summer Wells, you never know if you're getting clickbait. Well, we do. The people that are on all the time, right? Elvin and Kel and Synth and all you guys, all you ladies know that the to stay away from the fake AI generated crap where it says, oh, Dawn and Candace were arrested for, you know what I'm saying? That's not the real news. And I do hope and pray it gets resolved. It sounds like they're closer than ever. I know.
Who would have access to the property. And also stepping back for a moment, Nancy, about the kids, the other boys, the parents lost by court order parental rights. So basically the state of Tennessee took the children and then took the parental rights away from the parents and put them into foster care. Now those children are getting older and the parents, that was the statement you heard from the parents where they're no longer being investigated. And so in this lead itself, they went to a farm where there was believed.
Okay, we're going to get back to that farm, but what I wanted to show you is this, and this is, in my opinion, BS. Well, 3 siblings were moved from the home a month later. That's good. Family friend says parents saw a strange man around the property. Why didn't we hear that from the beginning? 5-year-old was last seen home in the basement. Again, doesn't jive. None of that stuff jives with the stories that you hear again and again from Candace and Dawn. We just heard 2 different stories all in 30 minutes. We heard Candace, or we read a statement that said Candace said she was planting flowers outside that day. As a matter of fact, she was planting flowers. Let me show you the flowers she was planting. It's over here. And then we see another interview, no mention of that at all. And she talks about what? She wanted to go downstairs in the basement, so she walked her down there? Bullshit. In 120 seconds? Oh, we're going to talk about the pig farm. We're getting there right now. Yeah, well, they lost theirs.
Itself, they went to a farm where there was believed to potentially be a pig farm at some point. And, we can talk about what that theory could have been.
Okay, go ahead. Hit me.
Well, pigs will devour a human body within 48 hours. And they will not eat the teeth, though. They will leave the teeth, but they'll eat the entire body. In fact, I did a video. You'll see it on my channel. I went to a pig farm.
Guys, trigger warning, okay? And again, this is why I keep my logo as it is. We're evolving, but I keep the guilty of crime with the blood because, guys, I do cover I push the limits with what I cover on YouTube. And so I just want you guys to know that when you come here, respectfully, I want to tell you the story that happened correctly. We're not in grade school here. So, you know, I just can't, even when my stuff doesn't get monetized, I just can't, I tone it down, but it's someone's not getting raped, right? Or murdered. It just sounds dumb. And it's not the story, frankly. I did hear Hunter. Of course, it was a strange guy. I think something happened not in that room, but in their shed area. And then it continued on. I think a lot happened in that shed area. And this is embarrassing. I would be utterly embarrassed, humiliated to be her right now, right there. Or even watching us for what she is. These people obviously have weighed heavy with guilt for the longest time. I mean, you can see the way they aged, and rightfully so.
And showed folks what that would potentially look like. And this is why when on pig farms, believe it or not, if a pig dies, the farmer has to get that pig out of there immediately, or the rest of the animals will devour that body completely, 100%. That body will disappear.
We are showing you the video Chris McDonough has described.
All right, this is great. If you haven't seen this, you got to. Anyway, no, we're talking about the brothers. They did get taken away. They're in foster care. Maybe somebody has them permanently, but nobody's talked about what they've said, probably because they're minors. Now, when you say could it have been one of the brothers, I don't think so. I really don't see these parents being parents of the year and sticking up for the brothers and taking the rap. I think if the brothers had done something, we would know. Those people are not good people. In my opinion, they are not good parents. None of the above. So only a parent that really loves their child or loves anything other than their drugs would do that. All right. Yes. A walking trigger warning. Thank you. Yeah. You should just know me. If I walk in the room and I look how I look, trigger warning. I'm just going to trigger you by how I look. There you go. I'm going to get a tattoo of it right here. That trigger warning symbol.
Which you can see on his YouTube channel, The Interview Room. Now, reportedly, no direct connection has been made between Summer Wells' disappearance and a pig farm. But there are theories and rumors circulating supporting a link between the two. Actually, there is a lot of forensic anthropology related to pig farms. But that aside, with no direct connection, we're kind of at loose ends. But to Kristen Kwan joining us, News 5, WCYB, what do you know about this lead that was predicated upon adult friends of Summer's father?
Finally.
Yeah, so we know that Don Wells, Summer's father, did have friends on Van Hill Road, about 9 miles from their house. But the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation has only confirmed to us that they went there following up on a tip. They haven't said what they were doing there. And because of the nature of this case, everything has been sealed.
Yeah, and you'll hear that. It's been sealed, right? They're not supposed to talk about it. But guys, the good news is they have evidence that they've collected that they're testing. We don't know what it is. We don't even know if it's going to be plausible. We don't know if it's going to be anything or just another nothing burger. But look at this. Bring yourself out from 1,000-foot view. Guys, if you're in the bushes, get out of the bushes real quick and just take a look at your screen. That's where Summer Wells was last seen from. You tell me a kid 5 years old that barely has any meat on her bones, skinny. They barely fed her. Candace is walking around like a big fat pig, her and Dawn, and the kids look like she's malnourished. There's no kind of anything. You tell me she was last seen here on this little tiny dot, and she got here or here or here or here and just disappeared? Or did like a helicopter come down and go right there on the landing pad? Come on, guys. I hope that I hope Summer Wells gets the justice she deserves.
Sealed off to the media.
Straight out to Brian Fitzgibbons, the connection of the search, the new search based on a tip 9.5 miles away from the family home. This is very densely forested terrain.
Too.
What would you do now?
Yeah, well, here's the deal. Just like Chris said, and he makes the right point. This is a tremendously rural area. You would have to have knowledge of the family, of that location, of their patterns of movement, that Summer would be there when you showed up. So it's very unlikely that this is just, a complete stranger.
Okay, wait a minute. Brian Fitzgibbons, you saw the home, the aerial photos. It's in the middle of a very rural area. Some would say the middle of nowhere. Where's she going to go? Of course she's home.
No, exactly. But I mean, how are you going to know that there's a child in there to abduct?
Right.
So, it points to someone with knowledge of the family and with knowledge of when they're going to be home. Right?
Exactly. Again, if it's somebody on the outside, it's somebody that's coveted, been there to maybe drop drugs off or pick them up or whatever. I'm sure something nefarious. Now, I don't remember that, Donna, and good to see you. But I mean, I believe you when you say that, because we're hearing contradictions left and right the more we continue to listen.
Right, that she's not at school at that time, et cetera, et cetera.
So at this juncture, where do we go, Brian?
At this point, the hope is that through re-interviews, through new information, that some new lead will come out. There is still a substantial reward attached to this case, and we know that TBI is actively working on it. So, you have to hope that new information can be revealed through these efforts.
We are pursuing every avenue. We're covering every ground cover. We're covering every aspect. At the end of it, if we don't cover it, we have to cover everything 100%. We're utilizing them just to clear waterways, areas that we can't put our normal people into, the canines, stuff that aerial cannot see that well. We want to get in there, flip every rock, check every crevice, check every spot, just to make sure we don't miss a spot.
It is still an open and active investigation. I think most people think that the case has gone cold, but that's not true. We still have agents working on it constantly. We follow up on any new information that comes in. I can say that we've been following up on information that we've received in the last few months. So it is very much an active investigation, and we will not give up.
From WBIR 10 and Times News in Kingsport, there is a $10,000 reward in place for information leading to the whereabouts of Summer Wells.
Of trust and
to launch your own investigation into the disappearance of Summer Wells. Why and what did you do?
So, Nancy, what happened was I happened to have been in Tennessee at the time this had taken place, and I went there to Hawkins County and met with Candace, and we talked for a little while about the disappearance of her child, Summer. And because my background and expertise is in missing children, I was able to create a relationship with her and a relationship of trust. And she took me down to the water hole where they were. She took me up to the house where they live. And my intent purely was to help her and help the family identify if this, in fact.
And it's interesting that they would work with Chris McDonough, but they wouldn't extensively talk to someone from the TBI or FBI. Sister Karen, she was rented out from the shed and never brought back, in my opinion. That's terrible to think of, but I've said that before in previous episodes, that shed was used to rent out for things like that. So thank you for saying that. Again, you go back to my playlist. I've covered this not since day one. I have not been a YouTuber for 5 years. I'm only on year 2 in a few months. So I definitely was not at the forefront of this, but I have been covering it, and I'd have to agree with you about the rented out part in the shed and something nefarious happening. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. A good man. Chris is a good man. They trusted him. Well, yeah, but that still doesn't have anything to do with why they'll talk to him. They even talk to Dolly, right? And I'm not saying anything about Dolly, but Dolly's more of he'll tell you, Dolly Vision. He'll tell every day. He'll use clickbait and say, "Yep, that's what I do to get him in." FBI just broke so why talk to YouTubers like Jack and Lily case, but not to the FBI or TBI? What's up, proud mama, 2 girls? There's a documentary about a pig farm. It's called Pig Farm. They found him. Yeah, it was probably on Prime.
Was an abduction, or if there was other circumstances that were taking place that would cause suspicion and help them find Summer.
So, Chris McDonough, when you go to the scene, good gravy, they do look like hoarders. What did you learn?
Well, the first thing I discovered when Candace and I were down at the water hole talking initially, and that's Candace right there, Nancy, in the shot going into that.
That's
it's behind a table, almost like a bar of some sort in their living room, and it's really a crawl space into the basement. And so when I was first talking to her at the water hole, I could tell she was carrying a tremendous amount of weight, obviously so, being a mother of a child who's missing. But when I got back to her house, I was shocked at the circumstances in relationship to the living conditions.
Okay, I think we're showing Summer's bedroom right now, and that's underground?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, if you can believe this, Nancy, if you saw how we got into this area here, you had to go through, this crawl space, and it was very narrow. It was very, in my opinion, if somebody would have fallen down that, and that was one of the thoughts that I had, could this have been an accident where she fell down and, And
it is interesting, guys, because they've got other beds. This is not just her room. I saw a bed down there. I see bunk beds there. I just noticed the TV playing over off to the side. And then there's another TV in front of Candace. Then they got the shed, the pedo shed. What is going on here? Again, I would love to see them get prosecuted for something, but 5 years, no body, hard to prosecute. No witnesses, no body. If there are witnesses, they're not credible because they're a bunch of addicts that probably are in jail or have already died. That's what happens. That's because I believe that they're riddled with guilt and they know what they've done. Law enforcement has stopped talking to them, according to Don, because at this point, it's like he's probably just trying to find out what they know. What? That right there on the screen is absolutely horrific. Parents slept down there naked with her. Probably woohoo cat. This case is disturbing.
Now the family feels that they're stuck in a circumstance that maybe there's other things behind the scenes, which I wasn't aware of at that time. And, maybe they wanted to help, but couldn't, they couldn't think fast enough, for lack of a better term. But when you get down to that basement there, you'll notice the windows. Look at the windows in there next to her bed. I mean, they've got aluminum on them, and it's
he knows what he wants to say. The aluminum foil is what the tweakers do, straight up. Everyone knows it. Y'all know it.
Reflective. And then, so the room next door is her parents' room, and then there's an exterior door. At the time, though, was blocked by a couch when she went missing. So I started to really question about how a 5-year-old goes down into the basement, and that was the last environment she was ever seen. And just vanished.
Usually you can see the road because they have went through here and mowed and took down a bunch of stuff away from the power lines.
Okay.
But usually it's full up. You can't even see the road.
That day, though, how was it? Was it full up?
They
or was
actually,
it like
that day and a few days prior to that, they were working on this.
Yeah, I can see the cars going by. That is not far from your property.
Mm-mm.
Is there a holler down there? I mean, is there a river of some sort?
The creek runs all the way around the property.
And how deep is the creek? Okay, just so it's like an inch or two.
Chris McDonough, you walked the property as well. What did you learn about the creek, and what did you learn about the traffic?
At the bottom of that hill, as we can see there, at the time Summer went missing, there was a tree trimming company that had been working below there. And what Candace was doing is pointing that out where they had been working. And that road in of itself, it's a very steep incline to get up to the top of that hill there to get to their property. So one of the thoughts was, is it possible somebody from the service company or somebody could have stopped on that road, gotten up there? But the downside to that thought process was you would have had to known 100% that Summer was in that basement.
Yup. And you'd have to know how to get into that basement. You'd have to know that the deadbolt wasn't locked. There's too much that you would have to know in order to do that. All right. Woohoo Cat says I was absorbed in this case for years. It haunts me and unbelievable that kids were not taken long before. I know. I mean, that's just right there. You're grooming children to be desensitized to that stuff. And guys, right from the day that Candace got pregnant and found out it was a girl, there was a target on that little girl. And when I say that to say there's a target on that little girl based on Don and Candace's lifestyle. All right. The drug addicts that they hang with, they're addicts themselves. I don't think they've ever denied that. Right. If they rented the shed out, if they whatever, the people surrounding them, that little girl, Summer Wells, didn't have a chance from the time she was in her stomach being, by the time Candace was pregnant. Damn, that sucks, man. Candace would not allow Chris to go around and come in the door, but she sure opened it and pushed it. She did, but she also unlocked it too. She said, I don't know if it was locked that day, but the interesting thing is that she said that at the same time while she was unlocking it and locking it. All right. Thank you. Thank you for saying that right there. Absolutely.
At that very moment. And I find that highly unlikely.
You are seeing video from Don Wells' family on YouTube. I want you to hear what the mom, Candace Wells, tells Chris McDonough.
I parked the truck and I opened both doors. It's really hard because this lawnmower is. But I opened the doors up and I shook her. I said, wake up, we're at home. She jumped right up.
Okay.
Like nothing. I unbuckled her and I said, come on. I said, Mom, I'll be right back. Went in there and got the boys and they were sitting at the table. The boys are actually sitting here.
Okay.
And they're actually sitting right here at the table watching TV.
Okay. So they're at the table watching TV. Okay.
They were all locked in. Nobody could get in. Nobody could get out.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
Watching TV. Where's Summer?
Summer, she was with me. Well, we walked up in here and we got Josie, Wyatt, and Waylon, the boys.
Right. You put the groceries down, right?
Yeah. Well, we went back out and then we brought the first info down.
You guys, remember all the things we've also learned? We've been doing this a lot with Deception Detective. And if you guys have the deck or you don't, either way, you should get it. But the thing is that she gives way too much information, but doesn't give any information at the same time, if you know what I'm saying. It's like she gives these small details that aren't going to help find Summer or even allude to where she might be, but there's nothing else behind it. It's just like, oh yeah, we ate that day, and no, that was locked, and the boys were right there, and I remember eating a Hot Pocket at 11:39 in the morning, whatever. Details that don't make sense or have anything to do with it. She remembers, but the important things she's got all wrong, and she keeps changing it. Does look like hoarders. My goodness. Thank you, Cuff You. I appreciate you. I got to get onto that Discord. You post a lot on there, and I'm like, I just need more time in the day. Thank you guys for being here. Hit that like button. Drop a comment. Say justice for Summer Wells. Let's get this in the algorithm.
And then Mom, she took her stuff to her house, put her stuff away.
Okay.
And then, of course, me and someone went back over, put our stuff away.
Okay.
In addition to Chris McDonough, star of The Interview Room, and Dave Mack, Crime Stories investigative reporter, joining us tonight, Kristen Kwan, news anchor 5 WCYB Bristol.
Before we get into this again, I just wanted to give you guys a few key points in the investigation, just on the overall, if you know nothing about it. Number one, she went missing 5 years ago today. All right, June 15, 2021 is the last time she was seen at the family home on Ben Hill Road. And you see Candace talking about ever-changing story. Now, guys, I want you to realize that they initially searched on a large scale. They had large-scale ground searches around the property, and that was immediate. Immediately after they said that she went missing or was reported to disappear, they checked lakes and ponds and an area and brush and under and rocks. Investigators publicly sought information about a red/maroon Toyota pickup. Do you guys remember that? Red Toyota pickup with ladders. The driver was described as someone they wanted to speak with, not necessarily a suspect. Now, the renewed searches that are happening right now are including a pig farm, which reported in multiple outlets, right? Those were prompted by tips. We don't know exactly where, but the tips are being followed up by TBI and FBI, and they're saying that every credible lead is being evaluated. But they're doing that right now. You know, this is 5 years later. That's happening now.
What jumps out at you from what you are seeing on Chris McDonough's interview with the mom?
Well, I think what jumps out to me is, you know, I've been up to that property as well, along with Chris at a different time. And I think the first thing that she told me was they believe that Summer was taken, that someone came through that back door in her room and took her out the side door and maybe took her down that dog trail that you can kind of see in the video near their property. We walked that dog trail. It's extremely, extremely rugged. It's hard to walk down. I think it would be hard to take a 5-year-old girl down that path.
Take a listen to more from Chris McDonough's interview.
Yeah, me and someone back at the house. And then we were just doing normal stuff on the house like we normally do. And I come out, Mom was sitting there at the time I come out and I'm standing here. I was like, what are you doing? What are you staring at? She's like, these plants, I gotta get them transplanted. I was like, well, Summer will help us. So I went back in. By that time, she was sitting on the floor playing with her toys. I said, Summer, you want to help plant flowers? And she jumped up, left her toys, and I walked over here and we transplanted these cactus.
I mean, do you hear that nonsense shit, guys? The details that she puts into it and the lack of details say a lot. Now we're going back to this planting flower story, but now we're talking about cactuses. What? Nah, man, they got rid of her long before they called law enforcement. And I didn't even know that Candace's sister went missing. Again, this happened 5 years ago today. All right. I didn't start YouTubing until 2 years ago. So once I picked up on this, it had been well in its way. And a lot of people are covering this to this day. People cover Summer Wells and Sebastian on a regular basis. So yeah, if you're looking for that level of detail, that's not me. I don't know what happened to Candace's sister or why she went missing or who was who or what. I don't have all of those details.
This is from the little pots that they were in. And transplanted these ones here into this bigger pot and that one into that bigger pot. And then she took the rocks that we've gotten from different gem mines when we went up to Gatlinburg and stuff.
Okay.
And she's the one that spreaded all the rocks around in here. And then she put her puppies in here. She wanted to chase in there, you know.
Okay.
And then we went in my mom's. Well, we can't get in there.
Yeah, that's fine. Went in there.
We went in there and got some candy and stuff. She gets from grandma.
Okay.
And I said, well, I'm going to go back over to the house. She wanted to go back, so I said I go back, you know.
Okay.
And I brought her. I literally walked over to here. I literally walked right to here where I could see the boys and on the kitchen table.
Got them.
And I watched her walk in there.
Chris McDonough, I'm sure you've seen this with a lot of witnesses. There are portions of what the mom just said that I believe. I believe that Summer Wells was there when they were transplanting the little cacti. I believe that she spread the gems around amongst the ornamental rocks. I believe she probably went into the grandma's and got some candy.
Yep.
I don't know what to make of it from that point. I don't know when those things actually occurred. But the reason I say I believe that those things did happen, whether it was that day or another day, is the level of detail she provides, the degree of certainty. I don't know if it was the day Summer went missing.
I'm telling you that, I mean, that doesn't happen unless, and spotting a hoax, right? And I'm not saying that never happens, but the possibility and like how deception detective and these other body language and pattern, language pattern experts, that's what we're talking about. There's leakage in the statements that she's giving. She's giving way too many details about things that don't matter, right? Liars intentionally do that. They'll give you the most amount of details that say nothing. But if you listen close, there's leakage about what really happened that day. All right, let's continue.
But I think those things did happen. What did you make of her story?
Yeah, and I agree with you, Nancy. There are fractions of her story that are believable. There's no question about it. In your experience, I mean, having interviewed thousands of witnesses in trials and courts, I guess one of the things that really jumped out at me
is the level of detail just seems too much. What I mean by that is, she walks me over and points to how she, told Summer to get into the house. And it's almost like this overprotective narrative. Yet you let a 5-year-old go into a basement like this, which is quite frankly, looks like a dungeon when you get inside of it. And then, it's on top of this concept when she first pulls up from a day's activities together, they're at a water hole together, that she gives this narrative of, Summer just jumps up. It's almost like, okay, I need to emphasize this to you. And in my training and experience, that could be either A, completely truthful, or, you have to look at those types of statements and say, okay, is she just trying to fill some gaps from activity that she's trying to conceal?
Investigative reporter Kristen Kwan joining us out of News 5 WCY.
I think she's giving the level. I think it's a combination of things, but I think she's giving that level of detail to convince whoever was interviewing her, Chris McGunna, that it did happen. See, there's a little look at the rocks. Summer's the one that put those rocks down there. That's what Nancy's talking about. But when did Summer put the rocks there? Just because she's telling the truth about Summer putting the rocks there that day and filling in the detail, it makes even less sense to think that she was out there spreading rocks. Her mom walks her back to the house that I doubt she did, and then she disappears after that. And Foxy, you got to tell your mom to call my mom, because that is not, when you get in your 60s, getting a RV and living in it is not adventurous. There's a lot of work that has to be done when you have an RV. So yeah, just Mama Pearl, you could tell them all the stuff, breakers breaking and plugs and the fridge and just little things go out. Tell your mom no. Buy her a little like shed. Buy her like the tough sheds that they have out here. It's not a good idea. All right, Dawn and Candace had 8 children between them. Dawn had 2 previously. One of the son tried to sell. Really? I didn't know that. One of them he tried to sell for drugs. The daughter was raped at a young age. Candace had previously one son was hit with a bat. Interesting. I mean, nothing surprises me at this point. Yeah, get a tiny home. They have beautiful tiny homes, and you don't have to do the maintenance that you do with RVs. RVs, not a good idea unless you have somebody that can do stuff to fix them.
Bristol, I've had a lot of witnesses and defendants that they weave in truthful portions of a story with untruthful portions, but I definitely believe that those events did happen. I don't know when, if it was the day someone went missing or not. When you went there, let me rephrase that. Have you heard any story that is inconsistent with what she just said?
I have not heard anything inconsistent with what she just said. And even when we went up there a couple of days after Summer had been reported missing, you could still see some of the Paw Patrol toys in the planters where she had maybe been planting with her grandma or planting with her mom. So I do think some of those details are definitely accurate.
Yeah. This is where the story gets murky.
And afterwards, when she was already in there, I walked over, I said, "What?" And he looked at me and I said, "Watch this, I'll be right back." And that's when I walked back over to my mom.
She's got all the
and I
details.
was fixing her brace and stuff like that. And I said, "Well, Mom, I got to go back over with the kids." And that's when I come back up into the house.
Okay.
With the boys.
Okay.
I walked in here and them 3 were sitting right here, girl, with their eyes glued.
It is fun though when you have a young spry family that you want to travel with. I mean, minus the RV people kicking us out at 1 o'clock in the morning. How dare they, right, Foxy? But they are. It is good. It is. If you don't have to do anything, having an RV is good. If you have to do this stuff, no bueno. All right. Yeah, she's just putting a bunch of stories together. I love that you just said that, Mo. That's what it feels like. She's putting a bunch of stories together to make it sound like that's what happened the day she disappeared, but her timeline is just all over the place. Yeah, right? Too much to remember, lady. She's like, yeah, and I went to my mom's and yeah, I had to fix her brace that day. Like, she's embarrassing. She's embarrassing herself. Does anyone tell her, like, lay off the meth for a day and have a real conversation? Like, that's embarrassing, guys. Word salad from a tweaker is rotten salad.
The TV, like always. And I said, boys, where's your sister at? Well, she just went downstairs, Mom, to play. So I went over here like this. So this is
She's like making things up and putting them into place to make it fit and collaborate her story. But that makes it even worse, because if they really did see her downstairs and then she went there and they were okay, then it makes it even worse. It means that she was in that house when something bad happened and they took her out of that house and she wasn't seen again. That's what I don't think she understands about this. That's absolutely ludicrous what she's saying.
the stairs are.
Okay.
Essentially, down under there.
Oh, down into her
Down into
bedroom.
our bedroom, and then hers is on the other side.
Oh, okay, in the basement.
Yeah, in the basement. And then I yelled, I said, Summer, Summer. And she didn't. I listened for a minute, I didn't hear nothing. So I went like this. This is how I always get down here.
Yeah.
This is my husband's room.
Okay.
That's embarrassing.
And over here, well, it's a mess again.
That's all right.
But this is where Summer and little Waylon was. Because Waylon's only 9.
Okay.
And they stayed down here.
Chris McDonough, what do the boys say happened?
Well, the boys have not, publicly made any statements. I know they were interviewed by not only Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, but the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department the day of the incident. But and as you can see there, she's almost wants to overemphasize that somebody had eyes on Summer at all time. Okay, and yet again we go back to this, going down into the basement area there. And one other interesting note, Nancy, is before I even got there, we had stopped at a market down the street, and I was supposed to meet with her husband as well up at the house. I think she made a phone call, and I believe she had made a phone call to her husband, who just inadvertently, wasn't there when I got onto the property. And when I got down into that basement, you'll notice the TV is on. And there's some programs on that, quite frankly, to any children being around it would have been inappropriate. So that in of itself caused, the hair to go up on the back of my neck. And I was really suspicious about the totality of this statement.
What was on the TV?
Yeah, so there was, what appeared to be some very inappropriate material for any children to be around. And I mean, it was a TV show where girls were lifting up their tops and, displaying their upper parts. And I just thought to myself, holy cow, this is right next to, Summer's bedroom. And if you look at that,
I can't believe that they had the audacity to do that, but I don't think that they even remembered. I think it was such a regular thing that they had that shit playing to desensitize the kids that you guys are right. Some of you guys, and I didn't get to shout out Michael for the 17 months, but hello, thank you for coming in and thank you for being a member for so long. When I hear that, guys, I also think, what if one of the brothers did assault her as well, or several of them? What if many of the boys, men, people, addicts that are around were abusing Summer Wells? I know, right? All right, let's continue. 5 years, guys. Say a prayer that we get justice and we hear something soon. They got to find that little girl and bring her home. That's way too long.
Picture right there, Nancy, on this shot, that is also a family member who disappeared in Wisconsin.
Okay, there it is.
Her case has never been solved either. And that her sister's name was Rose. And this is Candace's sister. She pointed that picture out to me.
So, wait, let me understand. The mom's sister went missing?
Yes, her sister, Candace's sister, is also another unsolved missing persons case.
There you go.
Okay, that's quite the coincidence, isn't it? How old was the sister when she went missing?
I believe she was in her 20s.
Now we're hearing more.
Yeah, I come down and I searched. I looked up underneath the beds under there. We can't really get on. I can't get on there.
Yeah.
So I looked under there, looked under every blanket I could possibly look under.
Yep.
And then I come over here and I look on one side and stand and work. And I don't recall if this was locked or not. I don't recall that.
Okay.
But I know it's hard on that. But I know I did come out here and I said, Summer.
I don't recall if it's locked or not, but guys, she specifically had to struggle a bit to unlock it and open it. But she remembers what her dog was wearing that day, or that her dog didn't have, or what. I mean, the shit she's just spouting just isn't right. I'm going to go back just for a second because I want you to see she doesn't remember. Now, this is Summer's bedroom. Doesn't remember if it was locked that day. But yeah, her first instinct is to unlock it. And it's not very easy to unlock. So it's also a possibility that something happened with that door, and specifically they left the door unlocked because maybe they owed somebody money and they said, hey, the door's unlocked, you can get down right in there, you have straight access. There's another thing. After bathing in Purell, right? That's, you guys are crazy. Foxy just keeps us laughing. All right, let's continue.
The hair to go up on the back of my neck, and I was really suspicious about the totality of this statement.
What was on the TV?
Yeah, so there was, what appeared to be some very inappropriate material for any children to be around. And I mean, it was a TV show where girls were lifting up their tops and, displaying their upper parts. And I just thought to myself, holy cow, this is right next to, Summer's bedroom. And if you look at that picture right there, Nancy, on this shot, that is also a family member who disappeared in Wisconsin. Her case has never been solved either. And that her sister's name was Rose. And this is Candace's sister. She pointed that picture out to me.
So wait, let me understand. The mom's sister went missing?
Yes. Her sister, Candace's sister, is also another unsolved missing persons case.
Okay. That's quite the coincidence, isn't it? How old was the sister when she went missing?
I believe she was in her 20s.
Now we're hearing more.
Yeah, I come down and I searched. I looked up underneath the beds under there. We can't really get on. I can't get on there.
Yeah.
But I looked under there, looked under every blanket I could possibly look under.
Yep.
And then
she looked under every pot. Guys, I also checked under my keyboard too. Nope, there's no Summer there. I looked under the rock, that cactus by the front door. I checked the cactus, didn't see her anywhere. I even checked all the flat blankets and pillows just to make sure. All right, let's continue. Absolutely ridiculous. But again, no body. 5 years later, no solid evidence. This house is trash. Even at this time, what evidence are you going to collect? You're probably going to turn a light on in that room downstairs and see jizz everywhere. You're going to go into the pedo shed and the same thing. All right. Her bedroom looks like a trafficking den. Absolutely. I agree. The whack shack, whatever. You put that black light on that bad boy and it's going to be bad. Damn, man. I didn't
come over here and I looked on one side and stand work. And I don't recall if this was locked or not. I don't recall it.
Okay.
But I know it's hard on. But I know I did come out here and I said, Summer. Because sometimes she'll sit right here and just sit here and play just for, And usually when she comes out and she goes directly that way up to the swing.
Okay, so this is like her.
Yeah,
when she come running out. Yeah, oh yeah, you can see the path here. Right to the swing. Right, you can see where she could have run right up to here.
And this is all the further she would go. She wouldn't leave.
Okay.
She wouldn't go out nowhere else.
There is a time frame here between this trailer and that house within, you said 2 to 10 minutes maybe.
No, 2 to 5.
2 to 5. And then she goes in and now she's gone.
Summertime expenses stacking up fast. For many, the only...
Yes, they do, Nancy.
Would have heard somebody coming at that point because the dogs would have been barking. You would hear any kind of truck or car that would try to make it up that road.
What do you make of the mom's story, Kristen?
I mean, I think it's hard. I think that, like we said, there's a lot of truth to what they did before that day. There's a lot of people that saw them go to the lake to swim, and then come home that day. But as far as what happened exactly on that hill, I think it's hard to know because there was only a few people that were up there that day.
Yes.
Chris McDonough, did the mom have this casual demeanor the whole time she was talking about her daughter's disappearance?
Yes and no. There was a point in our conversation where she emotionally had a breakdown, Nancy. I mean, she literally down by the water hole when we were talking, this is just prior to getting up to her house. She had made a really interesting comment to me. She said, I just feel like there's a lot of weight on me and that God is, basically punishing me. That was her inference. And I actually turned off the camera because I just thought it was such a moving moment. But my experience also told me maybe she was going to release information that she's been holding inside that, could give us a little more insight into Summer's disappearance.
Punishing her for what?
That's so embarrassing. She's just so embarrassing. And the thing about it is, Who even cares about that? Summer Wells has been missing for 5 years. We're going to find out eventually. I think that heavy weight that's on her chest and Dawn's at some point is going to come out somewhere. I have a feeling that anybody that was directly connected with it, if there was somebody else that they're either in jail or prison, left the state, or are just no longer alive. But yeah, I do believe it will break. Absolutely. And he calls himself, he's the one that says hillbilly. He called them hillbilly tweakers. I don't know.
That's a great question. That is an absolutely great question. And I didn't want to press it, obviously, in that circumstance. I wanted to, get to the house and get a little more information. So that's where we kind of jumped off from the water hole to here into the house.
Now mom is casting doubt on alleged child molesters.
And I just recently found out that there was I guess he's a child molester.
Okay.
That lived literally 8 minutes from my house. He can literally walk from his house into my house within 8 minutes.
Okay.
And that bushy area right there, you can't really tell if anybody's crouched down there or anything.
What do the authorities think?
I don't know what they think. I really don't.
Okay.
Chris McDonough, let me understand, the only way to get to Summer Wells's bedroom is through that crawl space, but isn't there a door down there?
Yes, there is a side door down, and as Kristen talked about, when I pulled up, I counted 13 dogs on the property. So, number one, a suspect would have to park down at the bottom of that dog trail that she was talking about a little bit ago. And then number two, the suspect would also have to know the exact time Summer was going to be into that basement. Remember, we're only talking a 2 to 5 minute time frame here to know that child would be in that basement.
In her mind, it was only 2 minutes. Now, remember, she's going a million miles an hour. I don't know what 2 minutes is equivalent to, but nothing about this story is helping to find Summer because there's no real timeline, guys. The timeline's all jacked up, and so is the what they say happened. What's up, Chief Rocca? Good to see you. Happy Pride Month. Look at that. He doesn't even know it. What's up, man? How you doing? Good to see you, buddy. All right. Let's continue. Cornbread Mafia. I agree. I hate to say that, but Summer didn't have a chance from the time of pregnancy, in my opinion.
And then from that point, he would have to take her out that side door. And an interesting point there is Candace made it a point to turn back to me. You saw when she was walking towards that side door to tell me she didn't know if it was open or if it was closed. And the reason for that is I believe she had actually told the authorities it was locked. And that was, something that maybe she was trying to fill that gap.
Locked from the inside. Got it. So the suspect would either have to go to the family bar/island, go into a little hole, go down the chute, land in the bedroom to get Summer, and then go out the door, or encounter 13 yapping, screaming, baying dogs by going up the side of the hill, get through all the dogs, get through the side door, which mom may have said was locked, get Summer and leave without being detected. Those are the two choices from an outside intruder. Do I have that right, Chris McDonough?
100%, Nancy. You're right on target.
Okay. Kristen Kwan, agree, disagree?
I agree. I think at one point, Don, Candace's father, did tell me he thought that she could have maybe been playing on the side of that hill because the boys and Summer would sometimes go down on the hill and play in the woods there.
Now, you know what's interesting about that back door when she goes out and she opens it? There's actually a direct path of somebody that does know. Let's say there's a delivery person that comes out there often, or their buddies, Don's buddies in their whack shack. There's a direct straight path when she opened the door where she goes, she runs down the hillside. There was a direct path for a car to drive, her to come out, or them to come in and get her. Yeah, the dogs were not home. The dogs were obviously knew a person approaching. Yeah, I was like, whoa, 13 dogs. What do you do with that? You're not allowed to have more than 3 in Santa Clara County. I guess it's free for all out in the country. I don't know.
And that he thought that maybe she could have been taken while they were playing and down on that
but not in 5 minutes. At the time estimate is correct, her disappearing within 5 minutes of going into the home,
2 minutes.
that doesn't seem possible, that she has time to go in the home, go down the chute, underneath the family kitchen island, land in her bedroom, and go straight out the door and start playing. I don't know if that's feasible if the timeline is correct. But then there are discussions of a polygraph.
There is a rumor about these polygraph tests. Clear that up.
All right, the first one that I took, and I didn't really take it because they kind of threw me in the back of the squad car, so I was really upset and, I was crying my eyes out.
Okay.
I mean, let's just call it what it is. They've all gotta know by now that these are lifers. When I say lifers, just addicts, right? They took the other 3 children away. I have no idea what they documented. I don't know if it was out of the safety of the house or what it was. If it, drugs, I have no idea. They just need to figure out how to clone Sheriff Grady, right? No kidding. All right, let's continue.
Okay.
And so when I got up there to the courthouse, we tried to do it, but I couldn't do it.
Okay.
So we waited a few days, and then I went back and I did it, and I passed it.
Okay.
So that was that.
Is that true, Chris McDonough? Did mom pass a poly?
According to the family and according to Candace, she passed the poly, but I don't think there's been an official law enforcement.
Yeah, man. The reason they don't use stuff like polygraphs in court is because you can't take a polygraph, but hey, before you take a polygraph, make sure 24 hours prior you don't do your lines, you don't smoke your stuff, you don't drink your alcohol, you don't do that. So when you get somebody that's going in there like Candace, that's an addict, a lifer, you can't get a proper polygraph reading. You can ask anybody that's done polygraphing or, what they call polygrapher that's done that. It's not accurate, especially if somebody's on multiple things. Like Judge and Murdoch case too, dungeon type frat house. Yeah, what's up? Yeah, I always said, is it Sandy? Sandy Riggs. All right.
Information on that.
What about it, Kristen?
The law enforcement has never said whether or not any of the family members have passed a polygraph, but we do believe that they took them.
Kristen, where does the case stand tonight?
At this point, Summer is still missing. Years later, they still are following up on tips. They tell us it's not a cold case, that they continue to follow up on tips. The most recent one that we learned of was that one in November, back in November of 2025, when they were following up on a tip in Greenville.
And what became of it? What was the tip and what became of it?
So all we know about that tip was that they were searching a property on Van Hill Road in Greene County, which from Summer's home is about 16 minutes away, about 9 miles. Now, we tried to find more information on what exactly they were doing there, but unfortunately, the judge has sealed anything related to this case at all. So we don't know exactly, according to law enforcement, what they were doing at that home.
Where is Summer Wells? There is a $10,000 reward in place for information leading to the whereabouts of Summer Wells. A $10,000.
That sucks. Only $10,000. You've got $1.25 million on the table for Guthrie, but you got $10,000 after 5 years. I mean, what? Okay. There's no. Okay. Let's continue. Man.
Reward. If you know or think you know anything about the disappearance of this little girl, please dial toll free 800 TBI fine. Repeat 800-824-3463. We remember an American hero, Officer Stuart Beasley.
All right, guys. Summer Wells needs to be solved. This is the topic. It's been 5 years, and I'm grateful for the interview room because they really do fantastic work. He's over there right now. They're far ahead. They started a couple hours ago, but they're interviewing Don Wells' stepsister, Mary, 5 years later.
I brought another guy along here tonight. I hope you're okay with that.
Oh, yeah. If you guys want to watch a few minutes of that with me and then we could drop you off, let me know. Also, don't forget, Montana Mystic says, Jay, I see you younger every time I see you. Maybe it's the hair dyeing. That's a good thing, right? I'll be 47 next month. It's Leo season, baby. Okay, so what happened to it is what I want to know. It was $73,000. Where did it go? All right, let's watch this for a bit together.
Yeah, and seeing how I figured we'd kick off, go back a couple of years because we were all in this thing together 5 years ago, and we're still here. And for those of you that don't know that Josh from the lab, he and I did a lot of programs together early on with Married, and I figured it would be apropos to have him here as well. So let me get Josh in here. There he is. Hey guys. Hey buddy. How are you doing? Good to see you.
I love that when they team up like this. I love it. And that's what they're doing right now. Rightfully so. I mean, the interview room has done a fantastic job of the coverage. I got it at 1.5 speed for a little bit.
See you both, and thanks for having me. It means a lot.
Yes, absolutely. And so a lot of people, Mary, are not familiar with your connection to Summer Wells. Since, this case is kind of been going in different ways, right? Sometimes it's dormant, sometimes it's it's
I don't know, man.
Why don't we start this off with you explaining to the audience who you are and what your connection is to Summer? Is that okay?
Yeah. So I am Donnie's stepsister. I've known him since I was about 5 years old. Him and his dad and my mom got together and got married in, I think I was about 12 years old.
I just want to hear a little bit. I've never heard any of what his stepsister has said about him, right? We've heard a lot of things, but I haven't heard that one. Thank you, Sandy, for letting us know that. So the court later awarded the leftover reward money to Child Advocacy Center. Well, that's good. Man, there's a lot of and rightfully so, right? There's a lot of, and I'm not innocent of that either, but there's a lot of misinformation out there about these cases because people want to get on it and they want to get first. I want the first info, but the first info is not always right. So then you get this rumor, right? I mean, I spread the rumor myself last week about Savannah Guthrie paying over $500,000 to a private eye. That's not the case at all. She gave $500,000 to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, but she has not paid a private eye $500,000. So there's just really, it's wild to see how things get changed around like that. Right? Do you watch? I do not. I am not a fan. But yeah, I mean, is there some kind of coverage? But no. Is this Jeannie? This is Mary. Hold on.
Hi. And so, so I'm Summer's aunt, and
it's Summer's aunt, Dawn's stepsister, Mary.
I started getting into, when she ended up missing, and so yeah.
And so Dawn, for the audience, if you're not familiar, Dawn is Summer's dad, biological father.
Yeah.
And so some of the childhood and family dynamics with Dawn, and Dawn's going to be our clarity of focus tonight. We're going to follow the bouncing ball on one Dawn Wells, just like we did yesterday for Candace. Now I'm getting a bunch of wind coming into, I don't know if there's a fan nearby or anything like that, just so we know, just no worries.
It looks like his back there. Look, it's blowing.
That said, so Marion, she has a sister named Jeannie, and Mary and Jeannie are biological sisters, and they grew up in a blended family after their mother married Dawn's father.
I know.
And Dawn lived with them and in the state of Utah as their stepbrother. And
we just love celebrating the whole month, Mo. I just got back from a trip with the wife, and she's a Gemini. It's Gemini season, but Leo season's coming. But first, it's Cancer season. All right, let's continue. Let's listen to this for a bit. I tried to get a summary, but it's live, so they wouldn't give me one.
And when Jeannie was very young and when Mary was very young, they both reported being SA'd. Jeannie specifically, starting at the age of 5, and it continued for many, many years.
You hear this?
And Mary was also victimized. And they were very strong, very powerful, came out about 4.5 years, almost 5 years ago when Summer went missing.
You hear
and
that?
they had reached out to law enforcement to tell them their story and that they were very concerned with the disappearance of Summer. And for Jeannie, the abuse started at the age of 5, and it lasted over 7 years. And all of those cases were reported to law enforcement. Law enforcement investigated it. They even contacted and interviewed Dawn. But unfortunately, the statute of limitations had expired in the state of Utah. So neither Mary nor Jeannie have ever received justice in the court of law for the abuse that they endured at the hands of Donnie and his
You hear that?
Mike. She has spoken about this very bravely. I've always considered her an amazing advocate for women's rights and SA victims' rights, as well as she has empowered many, many women.
I mean, I can see why the interview room is just on this case. And you're right. I mean, Cynthia, when you look at this picture, right? When I look at this picture, it gives me the icks bad. And I don't know why. And it's not because she's not cute. I have pictures of baby Guilty when she was little and dirty, and we're at the ranch. But this just gives me an icky feeling, this picture. Anything that Don is in and the things that he says about little girls and children. And there you go, Synth. You're right. Damn. I've only been on YouTube for a little over 2 years. This is the 5-year anniversary of Summer Wells missing. So that gives you perspective on the information that these people have that have been following this case.
Who are potentially dealing with that violence. And so Mary's spoken about the broader family environment to us, to both Josh and I, including generational issues and how Don's behavior fit into this. And so once Summer went missing, they had reached out to law enforcement there in Hawkins County to report their incidents and basically tell them that they needed to take a hard look at their stepbrother.
Mm-hmm.
Did I miss something, Mary?
No, I'm just agreeing with you. So, yeah.
Okay. Keep me on the straight and narrow as you always.
And guys, you guys know boys. That happens to boys as well. Does it make you wonder if Don was doing that to the children, the boys as well? I mean, these predators don't have boundaries. What's up, Vermont? Hey, did you forget about me? I haven't seen you. Did you notice it looks like she's wearing mascara in the picture? I don't know how anybody could let that man raise a child ever. I don't know. That's what we're talking about right here. His stepsister's talking about how he used to do that with the other children. They all did.
Boys do.
Right.
But the interesting thing about that, they gave some tremendous insight in Don's personality and Don's behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result of that, Mary's been able to provide a perspective on Don's history, his patterns of denial and minimalization, how he frames incidents, and his family interactions and how he hid his behavior, not only from his parents, but from other people around him in the circle of his influence.
You should be locked up.
And his family interactions.
Damn,
and
dude.
She's also been an advocate, noting how his public statements don't quite align with his and hers lived experiences.
I'm going to go a little bit more forward because, I mean, again, we're at 1.5 and this is a long stream. I just want to give you an idea what's going on. You guys can do what you want with that.
Between 1990 and 2001, of attempted aggravated assaults, interfering with public servants, forgeries, burglaries, burglaries of dwellings, many theft cases, narcotics cases. Is that your husband? Tell him I said hi.
Chris said hi.
He's like, hey, man.
If you were to write up Don Wells's rap sheet, you'd have to have it on a CVS receipt.
Yeah.
I'll bet his rap sheet is a mile long.
So, I mean, I think we can all come to a conclusion that, there was probably that along with everything else. And thank you for that. I did find out about that. What I'm going to do right now is go ahead and just let you guys, the interview room is covering this right now. There's like 4,000 people watching. They're way ahead of where I am on this case. Well, he does it all the time. So if you go forward, they're going backwards and they're talking about the interviews. If you look before, they're talking about everything that you could possibly want to talk about to go back on this case and rethink and maybe find something new. That's what the interview room's doing right now. So I'm going to drop that link in chat, and then I'm going to say a prayer for Summer that she gets the justice she deserves. And then I'm going to show you a Timothy Hudson clip. He got taken into custody, guys, by the U.S. Marshals. And you know, when we're doing this, when we're presenting true crime here, we're doing it for a reason, right? We're doing it to give it more of an outreach, to get somebody that may not have seen that or known about the case, right? We're doing that for the outcome. We're doing that for, look at the case that we just covered with the lady that's, now why is her name escaping me right this very second? Why can't I think of the name? We just thought she does crystal balls and tarot cards. Melanie, right? Anyway, we do it so we can find and make progress in these cases. And she literally took her whole channel down. I can't think of the name right now. What's up, KCH Crime? How you doing? Kathy, good to see you. Yeah, we need justice for Summer. But when we cover these cases, we do it for a reason, not just to rehash. I know, yeah. Unless I have notes in front of me, I am terrible. The girls, I'll ask them the same thing. I'll ask the same question like 4 times, and they're like, you asked me that last week. I'm like, girl, I don't remember. But particularly what we're talking about is making progress with a case, right? Being able to see tangible progress being made. And we saw that last week by Federline. That's the name. I could not think of the damn name. I'm looking for it, right? Eve Rogers and her mom, Melanie Federline, with her husband exploiting the daughter days before her death. Her channel came down. All right. So that's what we want to do. Thank you. That was the last comment. So 5 years later, where is Summer Wells and who did this? Who, what, when, where, and why? And what is law enforcement doing now? I spilled my drink. Dang it. I'm going to play this clip real quick. I just opened my drink and I spilled it. Hold on. Let me put this up because I want you guys to see this. I'm going to make sure it's at regular speed. And remove. Yes, I'm gonna catch you guys up this week on anything I need to. This is on a top priority, depending on how much information comes out.
Boy has been ordered into custody while awaiting trial for the rape and murder of his stepsister on a cruise ship. Anna Kepner was found dead on the Carnival Horizon in November. Timothy Hudson is a juvenile, but will be tried as an adult in federal court. Now, keep in mind, there is no federal facility designated to hold juveniles, which posed a bit of a challenge to the judge. Hudson, seen here at a previous court hearing, was originally allowed to remain free while awaiting trial, living with a relative. But after his criminal case was transferred to adult prosecution earlier this year, the government asked that the 16-year-old be locked up. Prosecutors say Hudson violently raped his 18-year-old stepsister, Anna Kepner, on a cruise ship and then killed her, likely by putting Kepner in a chokehold until she died. Now, a federal magistrate judge has sided with the government and ordered Hudson to be held in a state-run detention facility in Miami until his trial, which is currently scheduled for September. The judge found that Hudson, who faces life in prison if convicted, potentially poses a danger to other family members and to himself if he's allowed to remain free. According to the judge, there is serious concern that Hudson could, quote, snap at any time. While Hudson is in custody in Miami, the judge says he will have access to mental health treatment if needed, and his family will be allowed to visit him. Mike DeForest, News 6.
All right.
A 16-year-old boy is...
I'm actually really excited that he is being taken, or he's been taken into custody. And no, definitely not the chocolate milk spill, but it's funny that you say that because we have that vacuum that we put a fund for the stuff that baby guilty her messes, and we were using that this weekend in the RV. Yeah, she's 11 now, so she doesn't make those kind of messes anymore. But yeah, nothing the lady won't clean. I just cracked open this Red Bull And the universe said, you don't need to drink that. It's 7 o'clock, and it spilled itself. Anyway, guys, this is exciting. When we see something like this happening, that's great news. He should be. Can you imagine what Anna Kepner was feeling when she was being stalked by this kid, watched, getting on top of? He had a chance to stop strangling her, and he did a mechanical asphyxiation, and he watched her die. And then he did things to her and shoved her panties where they should never go. All right, so I hope he's scared. Ugh, you reported her to YouTube? Oh, good. Love it. Don't drink it, Jay. Justice for Anna. All right, guys, I'd love to be here with y'all all night, but it's only Monday. We'll be back tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. And we'll see we'll see what's on for tomorrow. We'll see what happens, what you need to know. I know I need to update you on some Nancy Guthrie stuff, Anna Kepner, and there's so many other things, guys. Go over to Ghost, sign up for free, check out the cases. Also, one more thing. There's a case out there. The universe said, fuck you, $3 is what it said. Yeah, no, it said, don't drink Red Bull right now. Yay. Okay, so yeah, I just got distracted. Squirrel! I will be back tomorrow. Kathy, thank you for stopping by. There's a lot of cases, and one of them is a lady that has 7 children found dead in Mexico. All right. So you guys go out, scour the internet, and report back to what you guys want to see reported on. Good to see you, Montana Mystic. I hope you're doing well. Oh, yeah. Always a pleasure. Vivian, love the name. That's my aunt's name. All right. Cheapskate says tomorrow's a court day. So hopefully I'll stay awake for your live. I'm usually worn out on Tuesdays. Well, we'll be here 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Love you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. All right? Good night. Mwah. Love you all.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty?